Hi, I am Dr. Lauren Wallace. I am one of the primary care physicians at St. Luke's Miller Creek Medical Clinic. I always tell people the most important thing is that they are in control of their health. We talk about joint decision makings. It's a decision that we make together on what's the next step. I want them to improve their health, right? That's the whole goal of medicine. And so we sit down and we talk about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then we make a plan. How do we get to that point in the healthiest way possible?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Duluth FC Soccer, brought to you by the Blue Green Stream Team, alongside our production engineer, John Law, our head camera person, Tara Anderson, and the coach, Joe Mooney. This is Matt Johnson coming to you live from Public School Stadium here in Duluth, where the Blue Greens continuing their homestand, returning to NPSL North Conference action tonight, taking on lacrosse Aris FC for the second time this season. The Blue Greens so far 6 wins from 6 in NPSL North Conference action, 18 points on the season, Coach. Stepped out of NPSL North competition on Wednesday to take on Minnesota United's under-19 team in the Minnesota Super Cup. We'll talk more about that in just a moment here. But back in the league action here tonight with the second half of the season already upon us here, and the Blue Greens looking to solidify their position, not just for possibly a North Conference division crown, but also getting some positioning, hopefully, for the NPSL Midwest Region tournament in a few weeks here.
Yeah, Matt, like you said, it's been a fantastic start to the season for the Blue Greens, and obviously they've got a look now at every team, and we're on round 2 here where they'll start to see other teams again. I think Lacrosse Aris is maybe the team that put up the best kind of game plan first time around, and really had a lot of solutions to everything Duluth had put together. So the leg down in Lacrosse a few weeks ago was really, one of the best games that I think we've seen up to this point in the season. So expecting another really good one here tonight.
And Duluth FC, as I mentioned, 6 wins from 6 in NPSL North Conference action. They did step out of conference play on Wednesday to take on Minnesota United, the Little Loons, the U19 squad from the Loons overall from Minnesota United, the bigger club, here at Public School Stadium on Wednesday. And the Blue Greens and the Loons played to a 1-1 draw. First ever Minnesota Super Cup contest for Duluth FC. It was a tight contest. Went into halftime after 45 minutes, scoreless before Minnesota United took advantage of a Duluth FC mistake to net the game's first goal in the 59th minute. Christopher Vang scoring for the Little Loons off an assist from Leo Kane, and that made it 1-0. But the Blue Greens answered 12 minutes later on a really pretty passing play. Tyler Limmer scoring his team-leading 5th goal of the season off an assist from Kostya Domorowski in the 71st minute to even matters at 1, and that's where it stayed the rest of the way, both teams getting a point in the Minnesota Super Cup standings from that one. Duluth FC nearly grabbed a winner late, a couple of really good chances in the last about 20-25 minutes of that contest, Coach, but both teams selling for a point on that one, and it was a really nice finish, though, from Tyler Limmer scoring the Blue Greens goal against Minnesota United.
Yeah, Matt, came from a good bit of play. Obviously, Kostya with the assist on that one, and did kind of what he does in terms of just kind of creating some things, down on the wing. And then, obviously, like you mentioned, Tyler Limmer with the goal there, really just kind of a deft touch that let it come across his body and just redirected it at the final second. And really just kind of a goal scorer's type of goal. Terrific finish, and was enough to pull out the draw and kind of keep them in pole position here in the Cup.
Jack Roach started in goal for Minnesota United. He ended up taking the draw, of course, as the decision. Alex Paredes, by the way, starting his second game of the season for the Blue Greens, gave up just the 1 goal off the turnover that allowed Minnesota United to eventually take a 1-0 lead in that 59th minute. But other than that, pretty good for him, as well as he got the decision in that 1-1 draw. Meanwhile, Lacrosse Aris coming in this contest, 1-4 in the NPSL North, just 3 points so far for Aris through 5 games. They're coming off of a really tough game last time out, losing to Dakota Fusion FC 6-0 on Thursday at Logan High School in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is a little bit surprising considering that they've played some really tight games so far this year, has Aris. But in that contest, things got away from Aris in the early going. The Fusion scoring 3 goals in each half. They got a hat trick from Yu Sakanomi, who netted tallies in the 11th, 71st, and 74th minutes. The Fusion also got goals from Shoki Yoshida, Benjamin Colborn, and Mei Lengel in the 13th, 23rd, and 64th minutes to complete the 6-0 final. Sean Marshall and Jacob Havlick split time and goal for Aris in taking that loss. So a tough game last time out for Aris. They've only scored 3 goals this season, Coach. They've conceded 12. So offense has been a bit of a problem for La Crosse Aris. They did play Duluth FC tight the first time around. That was a 1-0 win for Duluth FC on a goal by Coach Damarowski in the 78th minute. It was a very tight ball game, however, and I wouldn't be surprised if things start out pretty tight here as well here this evening, I should say.
Yeah, Matt, I guess I wouldn't take that last outing, a 6-0 decision the other night. I wouldn't take that as anything to really give us any kind of preview for tonight. I mean, I think it's easy for teams kind of midway through a season. There's some turnover, there's injuries that pop up, there's fatigue that comes into play, and sort of those mid-season games sometimes can be a wake-up call for a team as well. And so certainly I'm sure that La Crosse Aris is looking for that to be the case and kind of a revitalization almost as they go into the second half of their season as well.
So that's the situation here as the Blue Greens return to NPSL North Conference contest action here tonight, taking on the La Crosse Aris FC for the second time this season. And with that being the case, we'll take a quick break and then come back to look at the starting lineup and the starting formation for the Blue Greens. That's coming up right after this. This is Duluth FC Soccer, brought to you courtesy of the Blue Green Stream Team.
For your heart. For your hope. For your health. You are why we're investing in new technology and treatments. You're why we're committed to high-quality, compassionate care. So while you're focused on today, we're ready to care for your tomorrow. St. Luke's, for your future.
Hi, I am Dr. Lauren Wallace. I am one of the primary care physicians at St. Luke's Miller Creek Medical Clinic. I always tell people the most important thing is that they are in control of their health. We talk about joint decision makings. It's a decision that we make together on what's the next step. I want them to improve their health, right? That's the whole goal of medicine. And so we sit down and we talk about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then we make a plan. How do we get to that point in the healthiest way possible?
Matt Johnson and Joe Mooney here, high above the playing surface at Public Schools Stadium, about 7.5 minutes away from the opening kick of this NPSL North Conference contest between the Blue Greens and La Crosse Aris FC. And as usual, we'll give you the starting lineup for the Blue Greens here tonight. The Blue Greens returning to more of their traditional starting 11. They had a couple of changes in the lineup against Minnesota United in the Super Cup on Wednesday, but like I said, more of the typical starting 11 that we've seen so far through the first half of the NPSL North campaign for Coach Sean Morgan and company. Jake Starling getting another start in the middle. He'll be joined in the middle by Santiago Arazo, coach, and those two played together quite a bit here over the last few weeks in the middle, but Starling getting his 46th appearance all-time as a Blue-Green here tonight, continues to build on that all-time lead. Now, of course, he broke the record for all-time appearances in a Blue-Green jersey on Wednesday against Minnesota United, and he gets the start here in the middle at the right side center defense alongside Santiago Arazo. Should be a good pairing for Duluth FC in the middle.
Yeah, Matt, they've started to really kind of key in on that pairing now, and I think that they've shown a little bit of chemistry. One of the things that Santi Arazo brings, obviously, some really good defensive qualities. He's good in the air as well. He's got a lot of length to him and covers some of those spaces. And then just to have a left-footed center defender that can help, just in terms of swinging the play, some of that left-footed service that they rely on as well. So, and then obviously you mentioned Jake Starling and what a career he's had here with Duluth FC, and good to see him kind of keep extending that streak for as long as he can.
Tyler Limmer will also get a start here today, but before we talk about him, Andreas Solares, who we can pencil in virtually every game as a starting center defensive midfielder for Duluth FC, the Guatemalan. He's been just as excellent as ever, as you would expect, all of last year and all of this year so far.
Matt, every time out, he's one of the players that you really key in on, but I think that Wednesday night's game is maybe the best that I've seen Andreas Solares play. He was all over the park, and when Duluth needed somebody to really step up in those moments as they were under adversity and they were trying to break press and all that, he was the guy. I mean, he was the guy that they were filtering it through. He was also the guy that broke up every sequence that United was trying to mount, and just an absolute beast in the midfield. And so, like I said, I think coming off of his best game that we've seen to date.
Starting as a central midfielder a central attacking player in the number 9 position is number 9, Tyler Limmer, who has had a really, really strong game against Minnesota United on Wednesday. He's really played well these last few weeks. Coach got his team leading our 5th goal of the season in that 1-1 draw, and he had a heck of a game on Wednesday. Went all the way, all 90 minutes for Duluth FC for the first time this year, and was very impressive at pressing up top.
Matt, he was terrific, and every time out, he continues to impress me just a little bit more, and again, we knew what we were going to kind of get out of him as he transferred from another NPSL North team, obviously, this year, but I just think every game that he's gotten in with Duluth, you've seen him get a little bit more comfortable and take over a little bit more of the space in the attack, and then you saw the quality in his finish, which, again, put them on a point for the Wednesday night effort.
Coach Domorowski will play one wing, no surprise there as well. Another guy you can pencil into the starting lineup virtually every time out. Co-leading the team in goals alongside Tyler Limmer with 5 goals on the season for the Ukrainian. Miles Edmondson, meanwhile, returns to the lineup. He will play left outside back. Good to see him back. He got a day off against Minnesota United, but with the second half of the NPSL North campaign now underway or about to get underway, he'll play a big role in the second half of the season.
Yeah, Matt, and I don't think there's really you can't say that there's any kind of a drop off in the level, as they rotate some of these guys. Again, Sean Morgan, Greg Gilmore, those guys have put together such a great squad, okay? And so there's not really a drop off when you see some of that rotation. However, I do think some of the chemistry and just some of the some of the leadership and just kind of leading by example that Miles brings to it. He's a guy that he really gets up and down the wing. He's the focal point of a lot of their attack at times, and obviously he's terrific defensively as well. And you'll just see him cover a ton of ground.
In the midfield, Rory Doyle will get a start. He came off the bench the other day against Minnesota United. He gets the start back in there. He's been a key figure for the Blue Greens, both as a starter and off the bench this season. He'll be joined by his fellow countryman, another Irishman, Connor Behan, another guy who came off the bench against Minnesota United, but those two have been pairing very well in the middle, and they'll play alongside Andreas Solaris in the 3-man midfield for the Blue Greens here tonight. Meanwhile, the other wing position, not manned by Coach Domorowski, Liam Pritchard returning to the lineup, scored a goal in his last appearance for Duluth FC, and as a guy that has really played well on the right side wing for Duluth FC this summer.
Yeah, Matt, and I would expect that they're going to play him out on the right again tonight and sort of invert him. He's a left-footed player, but he likes to get the ball on his left foot, likes to get into isolation situations. You'll see him cut inside and try to either get to goal or put a shot on frame, or he'll look for that run as he cuts inside and try to play into those spaces as he drives through.
Tonight we'll also get the return of Stefan Robe, who had a game off as well on Wednesday against Minnesota United. By all accounts, was a little bit winded after the first half of the year. Played a lot of minutes for the Blue Greens, one of the leaders in minutes played for Duluth FC this year. But he's back in the lineup here tonight. I had a chance to catch up with him before the game. He sounded pretty fresh and pretty excited to play today. So good to see Stefan Robe back in there. And in goal for Duluth FC, Zeke Foltz gets the start. He, of course, has not played in a couple of games now for the Blue Greens, but he gets the start here tonight as the Blue Greens getting ready to start the second half of the NPSL North campaign. Meanwhile, the reserves for Duluth FC, as we get a look at the formation, the 4-3-3 look. James Price will back up Foltz in goal tonight. Meanwhile, on the bench as well, Dylan Zabatini, who got a start against Minnesota United on Wednesday. He will be on the bench tonight. Felipe Santos, who also came off the bench and played pretty well against the Little Loons on Wednesday. Felipe Artiega also back into the rotation here for the Blue Greens tonight, while Colin O'Mani, who has been starting recently, gets a turn on the bench here to start the game. He will be in reserve as well. Tom Akinola and Paul Bobai also will be in there as reserves for Duluth FC as well. So a pretty complete 18-man roster going in the game here tonight for Duluth FC.
Yeah, Matt, I think this is maybe one of the more complete lineups that we've seen in the last couple games. And, again, with the 1-0 result at La Crosse Aris a few weeks ago, I'm sure Coach Sean Morgan and the rest of the staff really wanted to take no chances here. I think this is a stacked squad that we're going to see tonight. And I would suspect that after the first draw of the season, the first drop points, albeit in a cup game, I would think that there's going to be a mentality of the Blue Greens tonight that they really want to get after this game very quickly and kind of put a full 90-minute effort on.
So that brings a close to our pregame show Here's the Blue Greens getting ready to take on La Crosse Aris FC for the second time here in the 2023 campaign. And with that being the case, we'll take a quick break and then throw things over to our public address announcer, Pat Sterner, who will introduce the two teams. We'll have the singing of the national anthem and then eventually the opening kick of this NPSL North Conference contest between La Crosse Aris FC and Duluth FC. That's coming up right after this. This is Blue Green Soccer brought to you by the Duluth FC Stream Team.
Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to Public School Stadium. Tonight's NPSL North regular season match features from La Crosse, Wisconsin, with a record of 1-0-3, La Crosse Aris versus, with a record of 6-0, your Duluth FC Blue Greens. Let's introduce the teams for tonight's matchup. First, the starting roster for La Crosse. Number 3, Luis Vergara. Number 5, Matthias Seymour. Number 7, Benjamin Pena. Number 8, Callum Dunn. Number 9, Stan Cargill. Number 14, Herman Fernandez Ortega. Number 16, Jacob Batista. Number 19, Ignacio Gonzalez. Number 20, Mateus Moura. Number 24, Guillermo Roman. Number 27, Mitchell Dryden. And coaching for La Crosse is Keon Grosner.
Are these what they go up there? Well, these are all these guys play college and then they summer game. They call them.
And now your starting 11 for the Blue Greens. Number 3, the captain, Jake Starling. Number Number 4, Santiago Orazo. Number 6, Andres Solares. Number 9, Tyler Limmer. Number 10, Kosti Domorotsky. Number 15, Miles Edmondson. Number 16, Rory Doyle. Number 17, Connor the Sheriff Behan. Number 22, Liam Pritchard. Number 27, Stefan Robe. Starting in goal, Ezekiel Foltz. Coaching Duluth FC is Sean Morgan. Assistant coaches, Barry Chasty, Greg Gilmore, Corey Boheller, and Craig Chudley. Your officials for the evening are referee Zach Johnson, assistant referee Megan Sanda, assistant referee Brian Holm, fourth official Jeremy Euchre. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem sung by Layla Octakin and Lexi Houle.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Layla. Thank you, Lexi. On behalf of all the players for Duluth FC, we want to thank our premier athletic team sponsor, St. Luke's.
So the two teams have been introduced, courtesy of our public address announcer, Pat Sterner. The national anthem has been played, and we're just about ready to get this NPSL North Conference contest underway here from Public School Stadium in Duluth. Matt Johnson joined by Joe Mooney as we get a quick look at the NPSL North table at this point. Duluth FC right now, as we mentioned, sitting on 18 points from 6 games. Perfect start for Duluth FC for the first half of the NPSL North Conference race. Dakota Fusion right now sitting in second place on 10 points at 3-1-1. Joy Athletic 3 wins, 2 losses, 9 points for the Billy Goats on the season. Med City FC, the Mayhem at 2-2-1 for 7 points. Minnesota Twin Stars in 5th position right now with 2 victories with 3 defeats for their 6 points. Lacrosse Aris FC with the 1 victory so far. They have 4 losses for 3 points, and bringing up the rear is Sioux Falls. The Thunder right now 0-5, no points for them so far on the campaign. So that's where the table stands here in the NPSL North heading into this contest here this evening. And Coach Mooney, just about ready to get this contest underway. First time admittedly that we haven't had exactly ideal conditions for a game here. Very chilly in the Twin Ports of Duluth and Superior here basically throughout the day. A little bit breezy as well. Temperatures, if they got into the high 50s, I would be surprised. But nonetheless, we got the NPSL North Conference soccer here tonight. We'll see how much the wind plays a role in this game. It's kind of been swirling a little bit, picking up at times and then dying down at others. It'll be interesting to see how the two teams adjust to that as well here tonight.
Man, what a welcome home for Craig Chudley, huh? The perfect weather just to welcome him back from North Carolina up to the Northland here again, and just kind of a, like you said, sort of a swirling wind and a breezy day.
Well, he had some rain earlier in the day as well. It wasn't steady, but it was kind of sprinkling and kind of being blown all over the place. So hopefully the playing surface stays dry. I was down there before the game, and it was very much dry. Assistant coach, though, Greg Gilmore, he was interesting when he told me. He said, you know, I'm not used to this. I mean, he's been around. This is his 5th year, of course, coaching Northland College when he's not a Blue Greens assistant. But he was telling me, like, it feels more like fall than it actually does summer right now. The fact that we're in mid-June and we're talking about the mid to upper 50s if we're lucky here today. But nevertheless, these are the kind of conditions I liked playing in as a player. So we'll see if the two teams give us a good run as a result of the weather being just a little bit on the cooler side today.
Matt, I'm going to call Coach Gilmore out on that one. You tell me that it's never like this in Ashland in June. Come on now.
Off the opening kick, it is controlled by Lacrosse Aris, and we are officially underway again. Thank you for joining us here on this Saturday evening for Duluth FC soccer, wherever you may be watching from. The Blue Greens looking for 7 wins from 7. Meanwhile, Lacrosse Aris looking for their 2nd win of the 2023 NPSL North campaign. And Duluth FC will have a throw now far side. That's Miles Edmondson off the toss. Getting it in now for Kostya Domoratsky. You mentioned the first time these two teams played way back, by the way, on May 24th. It was a 1-0 win for the Blue Greens, as now breaking back to their direction. Here come the Lacrosse Aris, and then the pass goes a little bit too far over the far side. We'll have a throw coming up here, but a 1-0 game the first time these two teams played. Coach, we talked about in the open. It took a long time before the Blue Greens were able finally to get that lone goal from Kostya Domoratsky in the 78th minute. So we'll see how much that game reflects what goes on here tonight. I would assume that both teams probably made some adjustments since that game. As here's a ball now coming near side. Liam Pritchard running it down right on the byline, trying to cross back. Comes back here, Stefan Robe, and he overcooks the cross. And it'll go to the far side, and we'll have a throw coming up now for Aris. Deep in their own territory as we're into the 2nd minute here, just underway.
It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
Man, one of the things we saw the first time between Duluth and Lacrosse was Lacrosse really kept the lines very tight. Really didn't allow a lot of space. They weren't real quick to break out numbers, and I would expect the same from them tonight. Obviously, their home stadium down there in Lacrosse is a much smaller pitch. It's a much more narrow pitch, so it's easier to really kind of take care of those spaces in between players. They'll have a little bit more space to kind of, try to marshal tonight.
And they play their home games at Logan High School in Lacrosse, speaking of Aris. As Duluth FC now, here's Domoratsky trying to trigger it forward. He was looking for Rory Doyle. Gets cleared back toward midfield, and Jake Starling, making his 46th all-time appearance for Duluth FC, gets his first touch of the contest. And here's Solaris now going back for the aforementioned Starling. Santiago Arazo, who had a strong game against Minnesota United on Wednesday. As this ball now is sent to the far side, here's Edmondson. Miles Edmondson with about 20 yards of space. Comes in now on the left foot. 1-2 with Domoratsky, and the pass just a little bit too heavy, and that allows Aris to clear it away for a throw deep in Lacrosse territory here.
Matt, you can see how some of the chemistry has already really started to take hold here between these 3 midfielders and how much more active a start this is tonight.
Here's Solaris now as the ball came forward. Now a chance to break for Aris as they come back now 2-on-2. Ball to the near side. Coming up now, this is Benjamin Pena with it. Pena on the right foot, taking it wide against Jake Starling, trying to cross it in, and it'll go off of Jake Starling. We'll have our first corner kick going to Lacrosse Aris here in the 4th minute.
Matt, I'll bring this up right off the bat. Early set pieces have been kind of the one Achilles heel that we've seen for Duluth FC here. So I'm sure that the coaching staff has addressed that a few times here in the previous few weeks, but obviously you need to be very stout here early on in the game.
Through 7 games in all competitions for the Blue Greens, just 3 goals given up on the season. And we'll have a corner kick now coming up here for Aris. Across Aris, only 3 goals scored so far through their first 5 NPSL North contests. As a driven ball comes in, now cleared away. Nicely done that time by Rory Doyle to come back and get a foot on that one, Coach. And now it's cleared near side, and now here's Solaris going to run it down. Dre Solaris playing the ball forwards. Flag stays down. Now Pritchard has a break. He comes in on the right foot. Gets a shot through the middle. Actually passes it, and they score! It's Tyler Limmer on the goal. His 6th, the assist to Liam Pritchard, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Blue Greens.
Well, Matt, what a ball forward by Andreas Solaris, and for Pritchard to just time his run. When he initially made the run across, I wondered if he had stayed onside. The AR was right on it, though, and then for Tyler Limmer to follow the play up there and get sort of a tap-in goal. But great goal, great counterattack goal from Duluth FC, and good to see them get up on the board right away.
Pritchard and Solaris both with the helpers on that one, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Blue Greens. And just the start you want if you're Duluth FC, especially coming up that 6-0 loss for Aris last time out. Maybe feeling a little bit down. They got a little bit stretched on that one, and a really good counterattack and a nice pass across the face of goal, like you said, for Liam Pritchard to Tyler Limmer with his 6th goal of the season. And there you see Limmer coming into your screen probably right now as he comes back through the middle.
Yeah, and you can see the Lacrosse Aris players asking the assistant referee about that. It was close, for Pritchard on the run. Like I said, I wondered if he was maybe just leaning offside, but like I said, the AR was right on the line, right on the money there. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And again, if all signs point to him being onside, what a great timed run from him and a great ball from Andreas Solaris there.
Yeah, I thought that Pritchard might try to take the shot himself, but he was very, very patient and was able to find, like you said, Limmer, who was coming right down the middle of the field. And that shows some of that chemistry, again, that has been building here. Now coming back, here comes Aris trying to make their way in, and now we're going to have a ball smothered by Foltz. Nice run in that time by Aris. Arazo trying to avoid the foul for the Blue Greens, and now Duluth FC back to their direction. Here's Limmer. Square ball, here's Stefan Robe. German outside back now for Liam Pritchard. And Pritchard now spinning away from the defender, that being Matthias Seymour. To the top. Doyle now back. Here's Behan. Under Behan, and he takes a hit from behind. That's going to be a foul on Jacob Batista. And we'll have a free kick less than 30 yards away from the Lacrosse Aris goal here. But Duluth FC wasting no time getting on the board, Coach, and attacking aggressively here.
Yeah, and a good quick touch there from Connor Behan. One thought, Matt, is just if you think back to the Lacrosse game at their place a few weeks back, Lacrosse had a couple of early opportunities that they came in counterattack situations. I think Duluth's going to want to be a bit more careful. We just saw a pretty decent opportunity just mounted from Lacrosse Aris there about a minute back. And really, it could have been 1 or even 2-0 early on in the game down in Lacrosse. And so, again, just Duluth needs to be careful or be wary of that.
Doyle to the back of the 18. Now here's Domaratsky with it. Goes to Domaratsky coming across the top. Now he has it taken away on a slide tackle made by Guillermo Roman.
Good tackle there from Roman.
Now here's a shot by Domaratsky, and that one dipped a little bit. I don't know if it deflected, but they're going to say yes, it did.
Had to have, Matt. That
Yeah,
had a lot of movement on it, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It looked like Coach had really hit it perfectly. Either that or took deflection. As it is, it's going to be a corner kick here for the Blue Greens. First time that they've had one here. In the 8th minute, it will be Kostya Domaratsky, the Ukrainian wing player for Duluth FC, that'll take this one. Had an assist against Minnesota United on Wednesday. Has 5 goals on the season. He plays it back to the 18, and back to the 6, and coming through was Arazo, and he just got a little bit underneath that one because he had a free header there at the edge of the 6 and left it over the crossbar, but good look that time for the Colombian.
Yeah, Santi does a good job of finding some of those open spaces. Just needs to get up a little bit higher and get his head over the ball. I'm sure if he gets a second chance, he will take note of that.
Yeah, Santi quite tall for a central defender as well, 6'2". And so we'll have a throw coming up now in Lacrosse Aris territory. Matthias Mora will take it, and now it's taken away, stolen by Behan. Clips it over the top. Switches it now, Pritchard crossing it back post. A little bit too far ahead of Behan, who was coming in toward the 6. And it'll go out of play. We'll have a throw here coming up for Aris. 9th minute now, already 1-0. Tyler Limmer, his 6th from Pritchard and Solaris. One of the things that was we kind of overlooked a little bit on that goal, Coach.
Was offside there.
Nice 30-yard ball or so off the right foot of Solaris also.
Very good in the breakout,
Yeah.
Matt. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he's very good in patient play and in build-up play. But you saw there, recognizing that Duluth had numbers forward and to play that ball on the run perfectly into the space of Liam Pritchard there, or into the run of his the space of his run. Terrifically done.
Now, foul going to be called on Jake Starling here, right near midfield. And in the back, Jacob Bautista. So we'll have a free kick now for Aris. And taking this one with the left foot, Luis Vergara to the far side of the field. And now a nice takeaway there by Doyle. Now playing it through space. Now Limmer's got to step through the D. Splits a couple more, takes it wide. Trying to finish on the left foot on the byline, looking for some help. And now we'll have the two coming together. Central defender goes down as well for Aris, and they're going to give a corner kick here, but Tyler Limmer just that close to getting his second.
Yeah, he had to just take his touch a little bit more diagonal than he probably wanted to. That kind of took him out of the running for getting around it to actually put it on frame. And then you saw him look up and look for reinforcements, and they were just a little bit late to get in there.
Domorotsky now off the corner kick, clips it toward the 6, headed away. Out on top now it's Behan. And now he'll track back a bit, create a little bit of space. Now here's Edmondson. He'll go all the way back now for Foltz. Zeke Foltz distributes nicely now for Domorotsky on the outside. Doyle. Rory Doyle. Domorotsky. Back now for Arazo. Now Behan. Duluth FC somewhat one-touch passing here as it finds its way to Santi Arazo. Getting it forward, and now Edmondson takes a spill. Ball continues on, and now it's finally cleared by Lacrosse Aris over midfield. Far side now. Arazo had a bit of a heavy touch. Tackled out, though, by Stan Cargill. It'll be a throw now up on the far side here for Duluth FC as it comes in now, and Domorotsky gets bowled over from behind. We'll have a free kick now for the Blue Greens, who want to, looks like, go quickly here as Doyle stands over this one. But really good pace to this one so far from Duluth FC, Coach.
Yeah, and Santi just a little bit lucky there that it was a heavy touch from him and hadn't checked his shoulder to recognize the pressure coming on him, and that could have been worse. But in any case, we're off the other way.
Starling now going far side. Edmondson. Nice touch with the inside of the foot for Doyle. Now it's Solaris. And so Andre Solaris keeping his footing. And now we're going to have a whistle on a foul, and it's going to come back. Looks like they were trying to play advantage there, Coach, but they're going to bring it back and award the free kick here to the Blue Greens. And again, they start quickly.
Madam, I'm a bit surprised he brought the ball all the way back. Usually advantage goes on for a second or two, but after completing 4 passes in that sequence, quite often you don't see a referee bring it back.
Right, yeah, exactly. Here's Robe now. Liam Pritchard got the primary assist on the goal by Tyler Limmer, his 6th of the season to make it 1-0. That's Domorotsky. Solaris. Andreas Solaris. He's got Pritchard if he wants him, and he uses him on the outside. Aris right now defending with all 11. Starling switches the field again. Edmondson, first time. Doyle. Domorotsky. Goes to Domorotsky. Turning wide. Now Doyle, and now it's taken off of the foot of the Blue Greens, and they're going to let it go over the end. It is going to go over the end, and we're going to have a corner kick.
Matt, keep looking for that triangle there between Domorotsky, Doyle, and Miles Edmondson. That's been on the last few sequences down the field, and it's been productive for them.
Corner kick now far side. Domorotsky will line this one up. Duluth FC going to bring everybody just about forward. Pritchard going to stand at the top of the 18. Behan going to hold, as is Edmondson. Everybody else is in the box for Duluth FC now. And now here's the corner kick. Bending ball. Punching it is going to be Mitchell Dryden, by the way, who's getting the start in goal for Lacrosse. And apparently we went too early. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, it looks like a couple bodies down in the box, and I'm assuming that the referee is just going to kind of say that there was probably multiple fouls that went on, kind of both teams, and rather than do anything else, just kind of a retake of the kick.
Well, Domorotsky will take this one. Bending ball, back post, and Dryden will rise up over everybody and snatch that one. And wait for his teammates to get forward now as he gives it a ride back toward midfield to the far side of the field and out of play. It'll be a throw here for the Blue Greens taken by Santiago Arazo. He was a college teammate of Jake Starling, who has the ball at his foot now. So two former Florida Southern Mocs playing in the middle tonight. So they're pretty familiar with each other, to say the least.
Yeah, Matt, again, you can see that chemistry, and a lot of times, I mean, what the game will come down to, obviously there's individual components and there's team and chemistry components, but a lot of it comes down to just partnerships, right? So there's pairings all over the field that you'll see, and maybe none more important to a team than the center back pairing.
Aris now trying to break out. Speaking of Arazo, there he is intercepting an outlet pass, stepping through, gives it to the outside. Now Domaratsky crosses over with the left foot and then had it deflected away. And it looked like Dryden almost wanted to come for that ball, Coach, before the central defender for Aris cleared it off.
Yeah, and I'm sure the defender had sort of committed to that, and I'm sure in the end Dryden's not unhappy to see the ball just kind of clear out of the box. Really nifty footwork there from the center back, Santi Arazo. You saw him take the right-footed roll and then get onto his strong left foot as he drove through the midfield.
Now we're going to have a foul called on Limmer. He was trying to create a throw, I think, for the Blue Greens over in that far corner. Instead, it'll be a free kick here for Lacrosse Aris into the 16th minute. Duluth FC scoring their goal in the 5th minute. Limmer, his 6th of the season. It's really nice to see Tyler Limmer, who has put in a lot of work as that target forward, that number 9 position. Nice to see him get rewarded with as many goals as he's had so far this year. 6 and counting now for the native of Brandon, South Dakota. As this ball now comes in, and Dryden will play it with his feet here. And that's something I know that you and I were talking about earlier with Tyler Limmer. You know, he's 6'3" or so, 6'2", 6'3" frame, approximately for Limmer, and uses that frame really well. And we talked about that against Minnesota United, and you saw it a few times already here today, and of course with the goal as well.
Yeah, Matt, again, he really does have an industrial side to him where he covers a lot of space. He's not afraid to chase down balls. He loves to press teams. He's good at deceiving in terms of his spacing. And like you said, has really become a productive forward for Duluth here over the last few games.
There's Starling now. Solaris for Behan. Robe. Back for Santi Arazo. Arazo now, far side. Rory Doyle now has a step, gives it in the middle for Domaratsky. Now it's Robe. Solaris has been getting forward a little bit more here so far through the first about 17 minutes or so. And good to see Andreas Solaris coming forward a little bit more, Coach. I know we love him as a CDM, but nice to see him getting involved a little bit more offensively, pushing the action a little bit more forward.
Well, again, Matt, I think a lot of chemistry between the 3 midfielders on the field right now, and just a lot of.
Here's Behan now coming forward, and now he gets shouldered to the deck. That was Guillermo Roman who came over, and that was right in front of the center referee, and they're probably not going to let that one go all that much. So we'll have a free kick now for the Blue Greens, who have completely tilted the field here so far, 17+ minutes into this one.
Man, getting back to those 3 midfielders, I was just about to say how active they are, covering a lot of space, trying to pull the line back a little bit, create space to check back into. You can see either one of the attacking center midfielders, whether it be Behan or Doyle, on a dime can really turn, attack space, drive through that space, and create a lot of problems for an opposition.
Pritchard will take this one, fires it right into the wall. And now he'll, off the rebound, give it back. Here's Starling. Look to switch the point and overshoot it. Didn't get over as much as he wanted to. And it'll be a throw now coming up for Aris. By the way, while we have a moment, remind you our next broadcast will come up Saturday, June 17th against Minnesota Twin Stars here at Public School Stadium, 7 p.m. The opening kick, 6:45, the pregame with yours truly. I know, Coach Mooney, you won't be around for that one, I don't think. Is that the one that you're going to be missing?
I'm going to miss that one, unfortunately, Matt.
I'll be flying solo up here in the booth. And, of course, Grandma's Marathon weekend up here in these parts as well, so it'll be a busy weekend all over the Twin Ports. There's Doyle now coming forward. In the past, I've had to broadcast that race as well. But I've been relieved of those duties for the year, so I get to sleep in a little bit that day, which is a first for me. In the meantime, now the Blue Greens into the 18 as this one is cleared away. Ignacio Gonzalez had it momentarily. Now back to the direction of Aris. Going to come across midfield. Really haven't done much on the offensive end here so far through nearly 20 minutes as Matthias Seymour now has it tackled off his foot. It'll be a throw coming up here off of Stefan Robe. We'll have a throw now for Aris. And I believe you're officiating a wedding that weekend, I think, aren't you, Coach?
Yeah, Matt, it'll be this will be the second wedding that I've been able to officiate.
My goodness, you do it all, Coach. You coach soccer and you also are somewhat of an ordained minister, apparently.
Well, both both are former players of mine, so.
Oh, there you go.
Both weddings that I've been able to officiate. This will be my first time in a kilt, though. So.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to be looking for some blackmail level of photos from that one.
I've already told Holden Law no photos. Everyone else, that's your job, but you can just kind of blot me out. Would be just fine.
Traditional Scottish wedding as this cross now comes in and Foltz over the top. Very calmly picks that cross out of the air, away from a couple of Aris players, and now here's a turn, and they're going to call a foul, I think, on Aris as they knock the ball out of his hand.
Yeah, it looks
Benjamin
like
Pena was the one who knocked it away, but
yeah, Zeke had just kind of released the ball to try a side volley, it looked like, and as the ball was in the air, Pena just had kind of run into it, and I don't even know if it was intentional, Matt, but if you are able to nip one off the goalkeeper like that, why not turn and try to go to goal?
Right. Here's Robe now as the Blue Greens breaking back to their direction. Stefan Robe. Connor Behan. Solaris, check it, it's Arazo. Now it's Edmondson on the outside of the 18. Passes a little bit behind him. Now it comes right back for him, however. And now Aris trying to break out. Long ball over the top. Foltz coming full sprint out of his 18, and he only plunked Christy Wilkie over there with that clearing ball. Trainer from St. Luke's. She stepped out of the way on that one. I'll have to maybe talk to her after the game about that one.
She was heads up, watching the game. Good on her part.
Yeah.
Showing that agility.
Yeah, Foltz did not make any mistakes on that one. He was going to make sure that got out of play. Nearly halfway home here in the opening 45 minutes. 1-0 your score. Tyler Limmer. Team leading 6th goal this season from Liam Pritchard and Andreas Solaris. That in the 5th minute. On a nice counter attack, and that's all the scoring we've had, although Duluth FC has had the lion's share of possession, and now they're breaking back to the direction. Here's Doyle. Rory Doyle now has Pritchard on the outside, gets it to him on the edge of the 18. Now tries to turn and go through, loses his footing, looking for a foul, none forthcoming. Defense was played over there by Luis Vergara.
Matt, there was a little bit of contact there, but I think the ref just kind of deeming that kind of Pritchard coming into that challenge rather than.
I thought it was a good no call, to be honest with you.
I think so, Matt.
Yeah. As Foltz now on the top of his 18 for Jake Starling. Now Solaris. Doyle on the outside, continues it on. Here's Edmondson, and there again, there's that triangle you were talking about, Coach. As Doyle for Coach Damarotsky. Now Edmondson back for Doyle. Damarotsky into the middle. Here's Behan with it now. Solaris does well to pick out Starling. Now it's Liam Pritchard. Didn't get any air under that one. He wanted to clip that one into the air, kind of bend into the box, I think, Liam Pritchard, but didn't get the touch he wanted. Nevertheless, Blue Greens off of a throw. And now we're going to have a foul called as Tyler Limmer getting into a little bit there with Vergara and also Herman Ortega.
Yeah, man, not much there. I mean, just a forward trying to work hard and initiate a little bit of contact on the center back.
Pass now near side. Matthias Seymour with it. Bouncing ball forward. Here's Jake Starling getting a touch. Behan, Robe. Now the Blue Greens will start to build from the back here. Solaris back outside. Here's Arazo. Damarotsky in the middle. Doyle, Behan. A little bit of a heavy touch there. Cost him in the end as it's taken off his foot by Vergara. But Blue Greens again off the outlet. Picking off the pass, creating the turnover. Edmondson. Damarotsky. Now Doyle into the middle. Now here's Behan. Behan taking it wide. Nice tackle. Otherwise, that would have been really a dangerous opportunity there for the Blue-Greens, and it's going to be cleared away. But, boy.
Matt, you can see how quickly Connor Behan can shift and change directions in there, and he's so good at keeping the ball so nice and tight, underneath him while he dances through the box there. And he wasn't far off from getting another pretty good-looking goal.
3 goals, 2 assists this season when he played his college soccer for UNC Asheville. The NCAA Division I level, and you can see why. He's got that deft touch, like you said. He's coming forward now. Well, Seymour has it taken off of his foot. Nice defensive play by Solaris, and now back the other way. Here's Doyle looking for Limmer. Telegraphed the pass a little bit. Well read by Aris. And the outlet now finds its way for Arazo.
Matt, if you go back to that last sequence, it's one of the reasons why I've loved watching Behan so much this summer. So you saw him, he was the furthest guy forward just on the previous sequence. As the ball came out, though, he was the guy tracking down the runner as the midfielder was trying to go through that space. And while he never got there to actually make the challenge on, he made the play predictable. There was no space for the midfielder to go except for right into the path of Andreas Solaris, who slid in, won the ball. And again, it's that work rate on both ends of the ball that you've seen now from this midfield on Duluth FC that has made them so effective.
Arazo now in the middle. Doyle wide open. There in the top of the 18. Turns and gets a shot away, and it skips in and grabbed off the turf by Dryden, and he'll hold on to it here as we're in the 26th minute. Aris trying to stay pretty compact defensively here so far. Duluth FC has made several forays from the 18 into the 18.
Actually a bit of a conservative shot there from Rory Doyle. I'd like to see him just put a little bit more on it, really kind of put his weight behind it and really strike through that ball.
Here's Solaris now squaring it outside. Jake Starling.
That said, never a bad thing, I think, to test the goalkeeper in the opening 30 minutes of a game.
Now Solaris, Edmondson. Trying to come up with the loose ball there. Instead, it'll find its way to Santi Arazo. Now Doyle for Behan. On the right foot now, Ignacio Gonzalez for Aris. In the middle now, here's Roman. Roman on the right foot. Squaring it near side. Callum Dunn. Dunn now, continuing it on. And the flag goes up. We're going to have an offside called. It's the first real buildup we've seen from Aris. They've been mostly trying to counterattack here so far, Coach, through nearly 27 minutes of first half action.
Yeah, Matt, I was going to say, it was a good little passing sequence there from Aris and a good bit of possession. Cargill just coming from an offside position.
Here's Doyle now in the pass behind Limmer.
Just couldn't quite get that one sorted out. And I think in the end, Limmer might have been offside had that ball gone into his path anyways.
As it is, it will be a goal kick here for Mitchell Dryden.
Looked like Doyle was waiting for Limmer to maybe just kind of duck central and then kind of peel off back out to the outside, where Limmer sort of committed to his run from left to right or from outside to central.
And the foul called now on Arazo. We'll have a free kick about 10 yards onto the Lacrosse Aris side of midfield here. Yeah, I thought that the ball maybe should have come on just a little tick sooner. Otherwise, maybe Limmer would have been onside, but.
Yeah, and it's hard, Matt, when you see your forward that's making that outside to inside run. You've only got a pretty compressed time frame to get that ball in front of him. Otherwise, he's going to either have to peel back outside, or you're going to have to play one in behind him, or you have to play one that he's actually coming back from goal then.
Arazo now high press here by Lacrosse Aris. And now Edmondson on the outside, and press does its job, creates the turnover. Throw coming up now for Aris as the toss comes in, intercepted though by Edmondson. And then his pass behind the intended recipient, that being Behan, but then Behan takes it right back. He's a very heady player, Connor Behan. Not the biggest guy, about 5'9" or so.
Matt, and just because this is something I always hammer on, could have been more dangerous there for Duluth FC as Edmondson played that ball square in the midfield from the left back position into Behan.
Edmondson now in for Limmer. Dryden comes, makes the save. Now it's Kosta Domorowski trying to dance his way through, has it taken off of his foot. Now Aris trying to counter back. Leaving it wide now. This is Jacob Bautista. And he goes on and he keep alongside Jake Starling, and we're going to have a foul called on Starling, the team captain for Duluth FC, and he doesn't understand the call, and neither does Stefan Robe. They're both.
Matt, quite a bit of grappling there. Thought that one could have gone either way, really.
And Bautista is still down holding his left shoulder. And Robe is still pleading Jake Starling's case. Really a fan of Stefan Robe. He is one of those guys that plays a very physical brand of soccer, and as you were talking about, he's a very skilled guy. Robe, one of those rarities as an outside back. 4 goals on the season for Duluth FC. I can't remember the last time we had a back score that many goals. I think you have to go all the way back to Ryan Tyrer to find the last time we had a Duluth FC defender that scored that many goals in one season, and that's halfway home. Is Robe now directing a little bit of traffic there.
Yeah, Matt, so I think the foul in the end called on Jake Starling there, just a kind of a back and forth battle there. I think, you know, initially there was a shirt pull, there was an arm pull, and like I said, I think it went back and forth in the end.
Bending ball in now from Pena, and it flies over the head of a on-rushing forward in the top of the 18 and grabbed by Foltz.
Like I said, Matt, in the end, if it comes down to a battle of strength with just about anybody in Jake Starling, I think Jake's gonna he's gonna come out on top in that situation.
Here's Robe now with some space to work with. Talked about his offensive capabilities as he comes forward. Now has this ball tackled off, but it'll be a throw here for Duluth FC. And right on cue, Stefan Robe making the run up the right side.
Matt, you've seen a few players now that have tried to dribble through that space. And one of the things that happens when there's a lot of bodies that stay in a very tight space, so what lacrosse has done is they've played a really kind of low block. And so what happens is it becomes harder to pass through those lanes. And so as a ball carrier, then you see what you don't see is passing lanes, but what you do see is, you know, driving lanes. And so you'll see, I think, players as they keep this low block try to beat guys with the dribble a little bit in the final third.
Now ball out on top. Doyle turns. Inside flick with the right foot. Here's Solaris. Far side of the 18 for Domorowski, who turns, gets a shot away, and that one hits the football upright. Goes to Domorowski. He's trying to curl that one into the post, into the far corner, coach, I think. Try to get over the top of it a little bit. Couldn't get it down, though.
Yeah, and Matt, and Costi is definitely a guy, when we talk about those tight spaces, that he's not afraid to get into. Automatic touches, driving into space. He doesn't need a lot to create an opportunity like he just did.
So Behan now off the restart. Finds Jake Starling, back now for Arazo. Arazo on the outside now. Solaris, ball forward. Domorowski now coming all the way back. Now Solaris does well to switch it now for Robe. Stefan Robe. Pritchard now gets bowled over from behind. We play on. Limmer, nice dummy here for Doyle. He shoots it, and that one is saved by Dryden. Boy,
great save from Mitchell.
How about
Dryden
that touch,
there?
though, by Limmer? Yeah, Tyler Limmer coming through and just dropping that off for Doyle as he came through. It'll be a corner kick, but Doyle had a good look at goal there, making a bid for his second of the year.
Matt, one thing I will point out, we saw this in the first leg of this contest, that things got a little bit chippy, and you're starting to see a lot of bodies flying after the ball's been released.
Bending ball now coming in across the face of goal. Starling got his head to that one off the right foot of Domorowski. Now Kosha Domorowski popping it up in the air. Plays it back. We've seen him do that a couple times in his blue-green career. Now Domorowski again trying to turn. And
out for another corner.
Yeah, it's going to be another corner kick here.
But Matt, I would expect the officials to start to crack down on that a little bit. Again, what you've seen is as a player release the ball, it's kind of like a step or two after that, guys are getting hit, and it did lead to some fireworks the first time around.
Domorowski now from the near side corner flag. Skips a couple of heads, comes to the top of the 18. Pritchard with it, and now a half bicycle kick attempt there by Doyle, rides high. And we'll have a goal kick now for Dryden as we're in the 34th minute.
Good effort there from Doyle, why not?
This goal kick is sponsored by Corey.
Santiago Arazo actually had a full-out bicycle kick that nearly scored against Minnesota United on Wednesday.
Didn't miss by much, did it,
No,
Matt?
it did not. Actually, that was one of the talking points we had before the game with some of the guys on the field, how close that was. As now Behan trying to dance his way forward, and now he'll draw a foul. And Another free kick in a dangerous place here, about 25 yards away from Mitchell Dryden's goal at an angle here, Coach.
Yeah, and I think what the center official down there is saying is that's probably going to be the last one like that. It's going to be the last, kind of similar type foul before La Crosse is showing a card.
And that's interesting. We have not had a card issued as of yet in this game.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call up to this point. I don't think there's really been a card-worthy foul, but I would suspect, again, I'm not down there, I'm not sure what he said, but it just seemed to me the body language there was kind of saying, okay, that's enough. Next one is probably going to warrant a card.
Doyle now taking the free kick, back post. Starling popping it up in the air, and Dryden there. Design play that time as Starling tried to flick it across for Solaris, who was coming down through the 6.
Yeah, Matt, if that's going to go diagonal toward goal, it's probably going to go lower. It's going to need to go lower. You teach kind of defenders up and out if you're trying to clear. So you're trying to head the ball in an upward direction. If you're trying to be on the attack, you're trying to put it actually down low to create more problems.
Here's Stan Cargill now as Aris trying to switch the field, and it'll go out of play. Throw coming up here for Duluth FC.
Because Matt, if you put that ball up in the air, what you're doing is you're giving the goalkeeper really the advantage, because he's going to be able to get his hands up higher than everybody else's head is going to be able to get, right? So if you're putting that across goal, it's going to be up in the air. It's going to be, like I said, advantage goalkeeper.
Now the near side AR is having a conversation with the center referee. And it looks like we have a problem here with Herman Ortega. Going over there. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, and conversation now ongoing here. And it looks like a conversation now with Vergara and the center referee. Fair amount of dialogue, it looks like, going on the field right now, Coach. And
yeah, Matt, and again, I think it's extracurriculars after the play has already been, has gone away. And that's, it's a good job of the assistant referees. I mean, that's one of the things that they're there for. The center referee a lot of times has to follow the action of the ball a bit more, right? And so if the ball goes away, kind of from the peripheral of the center referee, the ARs can sort of track with, the area the ball is just left, right? And so they're seeing a lot more of the extracurriculars that are happening after the ball has already been released.
And now the conversation is still ongoing, and everybody on both sides now getting a little bit heated over there. It looks like on the far side, Tyler Limerick came in for a bit of the conversation, as did Rory Doyle.
And, Matt, I've got to say, I think it would be a really kind of frustrating night to play against a guy like Tyler Limerick, right?
Right, yeah.
He's such a big body, so, just long and active, and he occupies a lot of space. And so to try to, you see that ball, I mean, just a simple throw-in ball into him, it's going to be really hard for a defender to try to get anywhere near that ball. And so it becomes frustrating. And he's a player that takes a lot of knocks because of that.
Right. Now Aris going to go long over the top here, and this one will get through everyone. And goal kick here coming up for Zeke Foltz, who hasn't had a whole lot to do through the first 37, now going into the 38th minute here of this contest at Public School Stadium.
Matt, if you think about this too, I mean, just over the years that we've been broadcasting here, just think about the number of goalkeepers that we've seen come through here that have just been outstanding goalkeepers.
Right,
and again,
yeah.
we've talked about this already this summer, but what a great goalkeeping staff Duluth has again. And it's credit to Sean Morgan and Craig Chudley for recruiting these guys to come in. It's credit to Corey Bullheller, who's been working with them, and just a really terrific goalkeeping squad.
This goal kick skips off the head of a blue-green player far side. We'll have a throw coming up now for Aris. Reminder, sticking around for halftime, by the way. We'll have our first conversation of the year with assistant coach Craig Chudley, who is finally here.
The return of Craig Chudley.
Back from North Carolina, which is where he's living his life these days, but he's back in Duluth. Came up and said hello to us before the game. It was good to see Coach Chudley again, and he's no longer just a rumor. He actually still is on the staff, and we'll be here to talk with Coach Mooney at the half, so stick around for that. It'll be an enlightening conversation, I'm sure.
Matt, and he's been doing some really cool things, and we'll kind of get into it with Craig here a little bit, but he's completed a master's degree in sports psychology, and you think about how much the game has evolved over the last few years, and how much more teams are starting to latch on to the idea that you can train the mental part of the game, and that can be an extra factor for you. So just excited to hear from Craig a little bit more about how that's all going, and it sounds like he's going to be working with the players a little bit to bring in some of his research and initiatives that way.
And there's a call that could definitely be a card, and now you see the blue-green bench being very animated on that one as Miles Edmondson got full out grabbed on that far side. And Jeremy Euchre, the fourth official, also is going to talk to the center referee now on that one.
And there's the first yellow card,
because
Matt.
Benjamin Pena came over and just reached out and grabbed, full out grabbed the arm of Miles Edmondson.
It's an easy yellow card to give because there are 8 in the laws of the game. There are 8 reasons to give a yellow card, and without trying to go through all the specifics, Matt, there's tactical cards, there's aggressive play. And I guess without getting into like the specific language, I mean essentially just being lazy, right? So rather than actually trying to defend somebody, the guy makes a move around you and you just reach out, grab them without any kind of thought of actually putting yourself in defensive position. It's going to be a card every time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened on that play. So well done by the center referee and fourth official Jeremy Euchre on that one. Now is this ball into the middle and.
Well, and a shout out to Jeremy Euchre over there on the side as the fourth official. Like, that's exactly what the fourth official is there for. I mean, so obviously he's there to kind of take notes throughout the game of who's on cards and minutes that need to be added for stoppage time and substitutions and all that. But he is there to be an official, right? And so if there's something missed by the 3 on the field, it's his duty to bring that up and really be a part of that officiating crew. So
we play on here, 41st minute. A 1-0 contest. Duluth FC with the game's lone goal in the 5th minute. As now here's a shot that comes in and a nice grab there as Pena came in. They moved him now to the right-hand side. He gets the first legitimate shot, I would say, for Aris here in the 41st minute. Foltz with the stop, and now Duluth FC trying to come back to their direction.
Well, Matt, that could have been troublesome, and hats off to Zeke for covering that ball up. And in the end, I think it was fairly routine, but it really didn't take much. That kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
It did, yeah, very much against the flow of play here. Against the run of play, Duluth FC has had the vast majority of possession here through the first 41, now going into 42 minutes here of this one, as now comes for Stefan Robe on the right side, the German outside right back. Now here's Liam Pritchard. Pritchard for the Blue Greens now stepping around, trying to play it right back on the edge of the 18 for Robe, and that one knocked away, and it'll be a throw here for the Blue Greens.
A little bit of a gamble there from Vergara to get to that ball first, but
Limmer now checking back. Now he takes a dump, and we're going to have a fall to the ground, and we're going to have our second yellow card.
That's another yellow card sponsored by
Dump to the turf is Tyler Limmer, and we'll have a free kick here coming up.
Matt, that's another one of the 8 yellow card cautionable offenses.
Yep.
Persistent infringement, and I think that's exactly what this one is. It wasn't in that tackle itself. It wasn't card worthy, but because we've seen a number of fouls that have happened in the same area, the same kind of fouls, that's where the yellow card comes from.
So Pritchard will stand over this one. Right on the 18, he's taken the lion's share of free kicks from this side so far through the first 45 minutes. This one high arcing, overshot everybody. Not sure that's what he wanted to do with that one, Coach. Maybe
didn't seem like everyone's on the same cue on that one.
Yeah, I don't think so. As we're into the 43rd minute. As the throw comes in, Solaris off the head ball. And now winding up and just firing away, it was Guillermo Roman on that far side, and now he's got a yellow card, and now the yellow card starting to come fast and furious here. That's 3 in the last about 10 minutes.
That's the 3rd yellow card in 2 minutes, folks. Sponsored by Yellow by Coffee.
Yeah, Matt, and again, I think that's a warranty. You may look at that and say, okay, a lot of times cards don't get, they don't come
they don't
that
come
frequently in a small
frequently,
stretch, but each one of these is just showing like it's frustrated tackles that are coming out. And I think the referee is smart to try to keep a lid on this game. And the best way to do that right now is with some of these yellow cards.
We have a free kick now at about 35 yards or so from Mitchell Dryden's goal, taken by Arazo. As he sends it now near side. Starling flipping it over the top.
Matt, and the other thing I'll say is that I think it's smart to give these cards because it protects the integrity of the game, a little bit. I was just kind of thinking that Duluth hasn't had a lot over the last 10, 12 minutes. Like some of the firepower has kind of been sucked out of them a little bit. And part of that is the game is being broken up so much by all these fouls, all these stoppages, right? So the referee is looking at that and saying, okay, this is tactical to foul this much and really try to break the game up. And so, like I said, I think he's done a good job of really protecting the integrity of the game.
Here's Behan with the shot, and that one also hits the football upright. Second time the Blue Greens have found the upright. Coach Domorowski did so a little bit earlier as Behan from about 25 yards out, Coach, hitting the football upright again. Like I said, second time this half.
Matt, how would you like to be a center defensive midfielder and trying to defend Connor Behan on a turn? He's so shifty, and he baits you in. He throws a little shoulder feint in, and he's off the other way. And you saw there, I mean, he had no space to work with, so he turns, and on his turn, nutmegs the center defender, and off he goes to a somewhat troublesome shot.
We're in the 45th minute now. See how much added time there is.
Also has the best nickname in the entire NPSL, doesn't he?
Connor the Sheriff.
The Sheriff, dubbed by our very own Pat Sterner.
Yep, and there's another foul.
And the Sheriff hits the deck right on cue.
Right on the deck, yeah, right on cue. And we'll have a free kick now coming up.
You know whose mentality reminds me a lot of from last summer, and obviously a guy that you and I know very well is Blake Perry.
He does.
He's such a fun kid. He's always got a smile on his face, and I just think of like trying to train with him, trying to be around him. Like he's such a good young man, and he's such a just kind, fun-loving guy. But there is an intensity to him as well, and that, like I said, reminds me so much of a guy we know very well in Blake Perry.
Here's Arazo now. Inside of the foot now by Limmer. Now Arazo will continue his run. Vergara will come over and outrun Santi Arazo to the ball.
Matt, I think Perry and Behan may share a hairstylist as well, if I'm not mistaken.
That I can't comment on. I don't know. Oh, now we're back the other direction. Edmondson hitting the deck was Doyle. And they're going to call a foul on Rory Doyle here. And we're in extra time now. And might get this last chance here for Aris before we hit the halftime intermission here. It's 1-0 your score.
Yeah, and I'm sure Doyle doesn't like that call. And you could say it's a little bit soft, but also as the referees are going to tighten up the game, they're going to have to tighten up on both sides.
Right, exactly.
So you need to make those adjustments and just know that there's going to be a little bit more of the ticky-tacky stuff is going to get called.
So about 30 yards at a severe angle here now for Aris. Man-to-man marking now in the 18 by Duluth FC. As this bending ball comes in, cleared away by Solaris. Now clipped back over the top. Flicked forward, cleared by Jake Starling. Now back toward midfield. And now we have two players coming together.
Yeah, and
Pritchard is down, and an Aris player is also down, and now more conversation.
I'm sure there's going to be a card on Vergara there, as it looks like his studs just kind of ran down the leg of Liam Pritchard. And he's got the yellow card out.
Yep. And we'll see if.
Yeah, and you see the AR on this side is pointing out number 3, Vergara.
Yep.
And again, this is it's a quality job done by this officiating crew. I've really been impressed with how just organized they are. That they really are, watching all the little nuances of the game. So as a player is about to be carded, he's going to run away, right?
Right,
So it's hard for the official to keep track. I mean, there's 11 or 10 yellow shirts out there trying to keep track of them. And you saw the AR on this side just had pegged down the number and helped out and made sure that the card went to the right, to the appropriate player there.
Those of you scoring at home now, that's 4 cards in about 7 minutes of play now against Aris. So things are getting a little bit rough, and with that we get our halftime whistle here. Yes, that's all the added time we'll get here. 45 minutes in the books, Coach. Duluth FC with an early goal. They did carry the vast majority of the play in that opening 45 minutes. Had a couple of really good opportunities to add to it, but they end up hitting into the intermission, leading it by the score of 1-0. Your impressions after 45 minutes?
Well, Matt, I think it started off with a bang. I think the first 25, 30 minutes were really, like you said, the field very much tilted for Duluth FC. And things quieted down a little bit over the last 10 to 15 minutes, and I think it's exactly what we talked about. The game became very choppy, a lot of stoppages. And again, I think the officials did a good job there. 4 yellow cards issued in the first half. That'll come into play in the second half. There's going to have to be a little bit more of an allowing of Duluth to be able to play, and I think that will start to stretch the game out more in the second half.
So recapping that first half, Tidal Limmer with the game's lone goal, his team leading 6th goal of the season. The assist to Liam Pritchard, that's the primary, and then Andreas Solaris also with the original outlet pass. So you could give, I guess if you're giving hockey assists, ice hockey assists, you could give that second assist to Solaris. But
have to give him assist there, man.
It was a great
ball
30-yard
like
ball
that,
for him.
yeah.
So that goal came in the 5th minute, Limmer's 6th. And that's all the scoring we have, 45 minutes home in this NPSL North Conference contest between Duluth FC and Lacrosse Aris. 1-0 Blue Greens in the lead. We'll take a quick break and then come back with a conversation with Duluth FC assistant coach Craig Chudley. That's coming up in just a few. This is Duluth FC Soccer, brought to you courtesy of the Blue Green Stream Team.
Hi, I am Dr. Lauren Wallace. I am one of the primary care physicians at St. Luke's Miller Creek Medical Clinic. I always tell people the most important thing is that they are in control of their health. We talk about joint decision makings. It's a decision that we make together on what's the next step. I want them to improve their health, right? That's the whole goal of medicine. And so we sit down and we talk about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And then we make a plan. How do we get to that point in the healthiest way possible?
For your heart. For your hope. For your health. You are why we're investing in new technology and treatments. You're why we're committed to high-quality, compassionate care. So while you're focused on today, we're ready to care for your tomorrow. St. Luke's, for your future.
And you're back at halftime where the score is 1-0. Craig Chudley back in town, back in Duluth.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Craig. So for those of you listening in, Craig is one of our assistant coaches. He's been doing some pretty cool things out at UNC Greensboro.
Yep.
And we've got him up here in the booth to talk about the first half. So first half impressions, Coach. First of all, welcome back, man. Good to have you.
Thank you. I forgot how hard those stairs are to run up at halftime. But no, it's good to be back, enjoying it. It's good to see the players in the flesh and live. And thanks to you and Matt and the stream team, because it's been keeping me occupied in the last 3 months. It's been good.
Yeah, well, it's obviously it's a different scenario to watch it from a computer screen or from a television screen. So what are your thoughts? I guess 7 games in here. What have you seen from Duluth? By comparison to what you saw last year, things that have stood out to you, good, bad, all of it.
Yeah, I think that the quality's higher. We recruited with that in mind. We wanted to make it higher. Obviously, 6 out of 6 is a great result, and here we go in the second half of the season trying to replicate that and keep us rolling.
Yeah, what have you seen systematically? Is it do you think it's coming together for you in terms of what you and the coaching staff have kind of put together?
Yeah, I mean, obviously defensively we're solid. The defensive unit and midfield 3 have been tight with Andrea sitting in front. We could still be more productive in the final third. Attacking wise, we create a lot of chances, but sometimes decision making and how we look in the final third needs to be improved. We saw that in the first half a little bit. We had chances 5v4, 4v4, and it's just little things that still we need to work on and score more goals.
Yeah, and obviously you guys knew that lacrosse would probably come out in a similar system, sort of a 4-2-3-1 and very low block, kind of a style of play tonight again. Obviously compressing the lines, not letting you guys have much space to pass through. How have you tried to counteract that?
Yeah, I think we've done an okay job. We need to swing the ball a little bit more. We've gone down the left a lot. If we can play out to the right and keep them moving and create the overloads 2v1 and a few more driven balls across the box, a lot of them being floated to the back post, get to the byline and pull it back and pick a pass is what we need to do against that low block, and kind of keep it wide. It's a bit condensed at the moment, and just keep the swing moving and creating opportunities.
Yeah, obviously we saw 4 yellow cards that came out there in the last 10, 12 minutes of the half or so. The game for a while there got very choppy. Is there anything that you say to the team about that at halftime, or just kind of keep your head on and play on with it?
Yeah, you got to control the controllables. It's what I preach a lot in my new role as well. So control what you can control. We can't control the refs' decisions. I thought it was slow to get his yellows out, to be honest. There was a double figure late challenges before he pulled out a yellow, but let us coaches deal with that. Control what you can control on the field, and although it is choppy and hard to get into a rhythm, we got to keep playing while we can and don't get drawn into those kind of situations.
Yeah, and obviously with 4 yellow cards, you wonder, will there be, at some point does one of those players get onto a second yellow card, and now all of a sudden there's 10 men on the field or even fewer? Is that something that you guys as a staff talk about in terms of like preparing for an 11v10 or 11v9 situation even, or is it just kind of take it as it comes?
To be honest, I don't think it will change. They'll still play with 10 men behind the ball regardless, or 9 men it will be with them, but it will still be a low block. It will still be something to break down. Sometimes you worry because teams change to go into that low block when they're a man down. It makes it harder, but the way they play, obviously there'll be one spare man available for us to utilise it if we can get that. But I don't think it will change too much. Our principles won't change. We have some great players that could come on as finishers and finish a game out. So we'll have some fresh legs, and I think we're in the second half. We can expect to see some goals.
Yeah. So one of the players I want to highlight here, Kostya Domaratsky, obviously has had another great start to this summer. We saw him come really onto the scene last summer. He's changed roles a little bit this year. Obviously last year, a lot of times we saw him in that attacking center midfielder role. Now he's been almost exclusively out on the left wing.
Yeah.
How do you think he's made that adjustment, and is there anything else that you need to see out of him?
Yeah, he's been good. Obviously, he played there because we had a shortage of wingers coming in at the start of the season, and the way he was playing and the form he was in, we couldn't move him back to the middle. We got a very strong centre midfield as well and depth in that position, and but the way he was playing, we couldn't move him. Obviously, it's a new role. We would like to see a bit more width out of him. Obviously, that's an unnatural position for him, so he tends to drift in a little too much. If we can keep him wide, he's unbelievable in 1v1 situations. So if we can try to exploit that a bit more and stop that drifting into the middle and create the natural width, then I think he'll be a lot more productive.
Yeah, so now as you guys continue to go through the second half of the season, obviously it's a good start tonight, and hopefully things continue on, through the second half here. I don't want to jinx it or anything like that, but hopefully you guys are coming out tonight 7-0. How do you keep the squad kind of motivated there where you've really, you've got 7 results in 7 games in the NPSL? Are there things that you're going to look to do to try to keep them challenged, or is it kind of just, keep your head down and it's business as usual?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. We spoke about before the game. You got to break the season down a little bit. That was the first half of the season. It's gone. We played well, yes, but it's gone. This is the next part of the season. We play everyone again. You break it down into chunks. The first half season, second half season, then we have playoffs. So we're focused solely on the second half. Obviously, we want to try different things with a look to the future, and keeping things fresh. Try different systems and see how we can be more productive in that final third. So I think you'll see a few changes in that, and experiment a few different things and try to keep us fresh and exciting and not predictable.
Yeah. Well, I want to switch. We've got just a couple minutes here, but let you get back down onto the pitch here. But I want to switch gears a little bit and just kind of talk about your role at UNCG, and if you don't mind, just kind of sharing a little bit about what that's been and kind of what you're looking forward to doing, the rest of the summer and then on after that.
Yeah, perfect. So it's been great. I've been doing applied sports psychology masters down there at UNCG. So working with teams, lots of different teams. I've been shadowing mostly in my first year and learning a lot about mental performance coaching and how can we perform to our best as much as we can, and how can we enjoy sport as much as we can, not just performing well but also enjoying it is a big part of it. So working with a lot of the college teams, D1 to D3. Had the opportunity to work with some great programs. In the summer, I've been got a new role as a performance coach, working with mental skills and men's performance with NC Fusion, which is one of the best USL2 teams in the country, and made it to national final a couple of years ago against Des Moines. And it's a different role. It's interesting, stepping away from coaching a little bit and focusing on mental skills, but it's great running team sessions, being around a summer program, and also meet with individuals and how can we give them new mental skills that they may have not experienced before. So it's a different role, it's a new role, and it's something that I think will continue to grow, and I think in a few years you'll see every college with a mental performance coach, a mental skills coach, and even recently at the professional level it's continuing to grow.
Yeah, and I think it's an area of development, it's an area of growth for sure. I think that a lot of teams, what they're starting to figure out, a lot of programs is there's 3 areas that you can train, right? You can train your technical ability, you can train your body or your physical aspects, and most teams are onto that. Everybody's training technical and tactical. Everybody's training to be better nutritionally, better faster, stronger, more agile, all that, right? But it's that mental piece of it, and you think about how important that is to be mentally dialed in and be have resistance to adversity and all that sort of thing, right? But I think what folks are starting to realize is that you can train that no different than you train your technical skills, or you train your, go through reps in a weight room or whatever it might be. You can train all that mentally. So how's that been? I mean, I'm assuming you've enjoyed it, but just, say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable, and I think as you work with these elite high-level athletes, that you understand that this is new to them, and they're 20 years old and they've been playing sport forever, and they haven't really been taught about the mental side of the game, how to deal with pressure, how to deal with performance anxiety, how to get the most out of themselves and perform consistently at a high level. So teaching them that has been great, and athletes are bought into it and want to know more, so that's great.
Well, and I'll say, Craig, and then I'll let you get back down to the pitch here, but it's really important work that you're doing, and I think that it's really difficult a lot of times for athletes because it's hard work to go inside and really kind of figure out what's going on inside your head, right? Like that's some of the hardest work you'll do as a person, as an athlete, certainly. And so to have good people like you around the game and around these young athletes, it is absolutely vital. So we thank you for that.
Appreciate it, Jay.
All right.
Thank you. I know you do a lot of great work around that and giving your team the opportunity. So good work on that.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, best of luck in the second half, Craig.
Appreciate it, Jay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you. You bet.
And once again, Soccer Association.
Matt Johnson back here at Public School Stadium. You just heard the halftime interview between Coach Joe Mooney and assistant coach Craig Chudley. Always good to see Chuds back in town. We missed him through the first half of the season, but he's back now, and like I said, great to have him back. A quick reminder before we begin the second half here at this NPSL North Conference contest between the Blue Greens and Lacrosse Aris FC. Our next broadcast will be coming up a week from tonight, Saturday, June 17th. I'll be flying solo. Coach Joe Mooney off to officiate one of his former players' weddings. That'll be against Minnesota Twin Stars. Second time this season that the Blue Greens will have seen the Twin Stars, coming off of a 3-0 win in the season opener way back in May between the Blue Greens and Minnesota Twin Stars. That'll be a 7 p.m. opening kick here from Public School Stadium, and I'll be on with the pregame starting at 6:45 or so as the Blue Greens taking on the Twin Stars for the second, perhaps final time of the 2023 campaign. So that's what's coming up a week from tonight. In the meantime, we still have 45 minutes of action to be played here. As the lights have come on here, the sky beginning to open up just a little bit. We were overcast basically all day, and during halftime, the sun did peek out a bit over the playing surface here in Duluth, so that maybe bodes well here for the second 45 minutes. Both teams having their huddles here respectively. The Blue Greens going from right to left here in the second 45 minutes, while Lacrosse Aris will be going from left to right here in the second half of play. No changes that we've noticed yet for either side. So both teams will keep their original starting 11 here. We'll see how long that lasts. As the Blue Greens will kick off here to begin the second 45 minutes. Tyler Limmer, who has the game's lone goal, his 6th of the season in the 5th minute, from Liam Pritchard and Andre Solaris. Accounting for the scoring here so far. He kicks it off, and we are officially underway here with the second half. As the Blue Greens looking to go 7 for 7 on the season in the win column. Stay perfect. Came in 6-0 with 18 points and halfway home to win number 7. We'll see what kind of adjustments are made here as we begin these second 45 minutes of play. Duluth FC with Santiago Arazo now on the left foot coming forward. Setting the ball outside here, Solaris. Andre Solaris, who got forward a little bit more than we're accustomed to seeing him in that opening 45 minutes. Starling now will switch the field, far side. This is Stefan Robe. Liam Pritchard now turning away from traffic. I'll find Solaris. Now here's Coach Domaratsky. That's the ball taken away from behind. And now we're going to foul called.
Good step in there from Mara.
Yep, Matias Mora. Coach, I know you had a good conversation with Coach Chudley. And what was he looking for in the second half of this one?
Man, I think a lot of the same. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. I just did the the bleachers, the stairs, man.
And then the Stairmaster there as he comes back up.
40 years old, Matt. I get a little bit more winded going up those stairs these days.
I can tell you, as someone who's a few years older than you are, it doesn't get any better. It'll be a free kick now here for Duluth FC as Roy Doyle gets fouled, and now here's Jake Starling wide open in the middle, crossing midfield. This is Connor Behan. Pritchard back for Behan. Kind of handcuffed him a little bit. I don't think he was anticipating the pass coming back that quick, but now here's Robe on the far side, and it'll be tackled off his foot. We'll have a throw coming up.
Well, Matt, kind of right on cue, you asked, kind of what we talked about at halftime with Coach Chudley, and it was one of the things he had mentioned is that there's been a lot of good attacking down the left-hand side. Wanted to see a little bit more down the right side, and you see, Behan, Pritchard, and Stefan Robe getting involved right away here in the second half.
Domaratsky, check it, was Robe coming across the middle, and now he'll draw the foul. Did get kind of the sense that Stefan Robe wanted to see a bit more of the ball in that first half, Coach. He's a guy who's used to having the ball at his feet. Very talented offensive player. We've seen that before. He led his college team and assists this year with 10 from an outside back position. Was first team all conference and has 4 goals this season. So his offensive prowess is no surprise to anybody.
Yeah, Matt, it's an advanced game that he plays. You'll see him go on the overlap quite a bit, which is not uncommon for a fullback, but he also likes to get inside a little bit and sort of invert some of his runs to get involved a little bit more centrally and in some of the build-up play.
now it'll be a free kick. The two Irishmen, Behan on the left foot, Well on the right foot. In the middle, here's the head ball from Robe, and it'll go over the end line. No, they're going to say it was still in play. Oh, now they are going to call it, okay.
Yeah, sort of a late call there from the far official.
I wasn't sure what happened there. I guess they called him, was it offside?
No, it was in the end, they had said the
Okay.
ball went over.
Okay,
Pritchard
yeah.
tried to save it and bring it back in, but
Okay.
just over the end line.
So a goal kick here coming up. More conversation on the field. Ross Aris has 4 players playing on yellow cards right now, by the way. Keep an eye on how that plays out here in the second 45 minutes. This is one of them, Herman Ortega. Sending it over midfield, now touched around by Pena. Now taking it wide, it's Jacob Batista. Edge of the blue-green 18 now for Pena. Turn pass was off the mark, however, picked off by Robe. Well, Duluth FC trying to counter back. Here's Behan. And Pritchard passes behind him. Throw coming up for Lacrosse Aris FC.
Yeah, Matt, and if you're on the bench over for Lacrosse, I'm sure you're going to be talking about how Aris has got to get to goal in a situation like that. You're not going to see yourself in many numbers even or numbers up situations in the attacking third, and to not even get a chance, created in that in the final third there on a sequence like that, they're going to be disappointed with.
Arazo in the middle now. Here's Doyle. Square ball, Edmondson. Now for Domorotsky, tackled out. It'll be a throw here coming up for the Blue Greens. We talked about Duluth FC's next game coming up against Minnesota Twin Stars. Ironically, that's also who Aris will play, but they'll be playing them on Wednesday. And that'll be at Logan High School in Lacrosse, the home field of Lacrosse Aris FC, as Blue Greens coming forward now. Here's Behan on the outside.
Well, I'm sure, Matt, Twin Stars staff and players tuning into this one intently then.
Here's Arazo, edge of the 18. Now Domorotsky with the step over, Doyle back out now. Robe, well done, outside edge of the 18. Here's Pritchard, crossing ball in, headed away. Now Solaris tracking it down. Going wide now, Domorotsky, and he tried to get it back for Solaris. Tackled out. Promising build up there from Duluth FC.
Matt, one of the things at this point in the season, you're going to have to start to hammer on if you're Duluth FC is just it's the intentionality in some of your passes. So like the last sequence there, the ball gets into Stephen Robe. He obviously takes a touch inside to kind of draw that defender, but as he plays it out to Liam Pritchard on the wide side, he played it behind Pritchard, right? So now Liam's got to take a touch to get that ball slung in, and it just disrupts the rhythm a bit. And so again, it's just the intentionality in your passing. A ball like that has to go forward into his running path so he can play it first touch.
A little bit of a heavy touch there as well from Pritchard off of a nice pass from Robe on that right side. I feel like there are channels there to be exploited as well between Robe and Pritchard, coach, on the wing.
Absolutely.
As this ball now sent forward, now flicked into Duluth FC territory. Starling there. Here's Andreas Solaris.
I mean, really, Matt, anytime you're trying to switch the point of the attack, you're trying to do it in as few touches as possible. And the reason you're switching the point of attack is we'll let this play develop here a little bit.
Now that ball was intercepted by Ortega, who sends it in. Easily grabbed there by Foltz, and now Solaris brought down by Pena. And Solaris wants nothing to do with Pena trying to help him up.
Yeah, I think they're kind of over the late fouls, Matt.
It's coming forward now on the outside. Here's Doyle. Rory Doyle now. Into the 18. Doesn't make its way for Limmer. That's who it was intended for. Broken up by Aris. Now here's Solaris. Back outside, Pritchard. Has Limmer with him. Now he tries to cut it back for Doyle. And that one picked off. And then taking an elbow right up in the chops there was Stefan Robe, and we play on. As this ball now into the middle. There's Gonzalez. Robe back up now, speaking with the AR on that far side. Flag is up on that far side, and now here's a shot, and the save is going to be made. And assistant coach Craig Chudley now is coming over and asking why there wasn't a stoppage as Robe got elbowed.
Yeah, and I'm
the
sure
move up the field by Herman Ortega. And there's got to be some frustration there, it looks like. And yeah, Robe being tended to by Christy Wilkie on the far side, coach, and got that elbow up a little bit as he crossed midfield. And
yeah,
Stefan he responded almost immediately.
Yeah, those are sometimes tough to call because there's going to be some incidental contact, and sometimes your arms go out to try to create a little bit of extra space, and you start to question as an official, was it intentional? Did he really try to put a hand to the face or anything like that? But in the end, it seemed like a fairly easy just kind of call to make, but we'll move on.
Ball forward for Limmer. He took a heavy touch. That one picked off again by Aris. They distribute wide. Here's Pena. Robe back on. No lasting damage done. Now here's Edmondson coming through and with a big swing. That's going to draw him a card.
Yeah, and I think Miles Edmondson is actually unlucky there. So Pena, and I'm sure it looked bad, right?
Yeah. Whenever you swing with that left foot like that.
He took a big swing, but what ended up happening was Pena actually kind of missed his touch, and his foot went over the ball, and he did not try to do that. So where Edmondson was coming through on the swing was actually where the ball was going to be, not expecting that leg to come over the top of it. It was completely unintentional.
Yeah, Miles, one of the cleaner players on the field. Don't see him take too many cheap shots, if any. So now it'll be a free kick. At least it would be very much out of character for Miles to do that, of course.
Yeah, Matt, there was no intention behind it. Again, it was kind of a awkward play, as Pena, like I said, his foot rolled over the ball.
And now here's a bad turnover by Dryden. Behan off the interception, comes all the way in, gets a shot away, and the save will be made. Boy, did they dodge a bullet there as Connor Behan. Dryden played it right to him. And Behan coming in. Dryden had to make a huge save there, but it'll draw a corner kick here for Duluth FC, and that's one of those turnovers, Coach. That could be deadly right there.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I don't think La Crosse can afford for this game to go 2-0.
Yeah, not at this point in the game, I wouldn't think. I'm going to try to keep this at least at a one-goal game now as Domorotsky, near side corner flag, will play it in here on the right foot. Rally towels swinging away here at Public School Stadium. Domorotsky bending it back post, getting up as Starling, heads it right back to Domorotsky. Tried to chip it in toward the 6. Now Robe, and he gets underneath that one, and Dryden will grab it.
But Matt, a few minutes removed here from our previous conversation just about switching the point of attack. And again, this is just something I think Duluth is going to want to hammer on a little bit. Again, that final ball, just being more intentional in that. So when you're switching the point of the attack, what you're doing is you're trying to create numbers up situations. And so if you take touches out of that, you can exploit more space. And that final ball needs to be a penetrating ball. And if it's not, there's really no point in switching the point of attack. Sorry, it took me about 8 minutes to get my final thoughts there, but I promise I was going somewhere with it.
No, that's what I have full faith in you, Coach. Well done by Domorotsky. He picks out a wide open Miles Edmondson on the left foot. Now Behan. Continuing on now, Domorotsky. Distributes right side. Pritchard has Robe with him. Uses him on it. Now Pritchard again. Not sure what the intention was there. Ball was picked off here by Aris, and now they're trying to counter back.
Matt, and there's a prime example where I'm sure the coaching staff is going to say that's one we need to switch the point of attack. We're numbers down here. It's a 2v3 situation.
Here's Pena now crossing into the middle behind the intended recipient, who's coming down the middle there for Aris. And the Blue-Greens now with Robe outside Pritchard. And now he gets impeded as he tried to make a run up the right side, and it will be a tactical foul here of sorts, to say the least, Coach.
Yeah.
And you wonder how many more of those tactical type fouls we're going to see here before, again, more cards start coming out here. The only card of the second half so far has been against Duluth FC's Miles Edmondson. It's actually the first yellow card the Blue-Greens have had tonight. 4 of them so far on Aris. All of them in about the last 10 minutes of the half.
Yeah, Matt, I think we're getting kind of into that time frame again here where you probably will start to see a few more of those cards come out just for tactical or for kind of foul accumulation.
Arazo now coming forward. Limmer. Now Domorotsky has space in front of him. Does well to pick out Edmondson. Edmondson now crossing the ball in, overshoots everybody. Weak side now Pritchard. Domorotsky now taking it wide, and now he gets run into by Luis Vergara.
Yeah, just a heavy touch there from Costi in the end.
And we're going to do that again, I guess.
Good hands there from Jake Starling.
Yeah, we've seen that before from Jake. And
Florida guy, I'm sure. American football is in his blood
yeah,
somewhere, right?
Somewhere, yeah. We're happy to have him as a traditional football player. As off the restart, now Dryden playing it short. Laying the ball forward. Now Solaris. Arazo. Behan. Guillermo Roman getting into his back, and now here's a ball up the far side. Domorotsky will not be able to run it down. 59th minute, still 1-0.
Another ball on play sponsored by East Select Soccer.
Yeah, and I have to think that there's being a little bit of urgency kind of push from the Duluth FC bench to try to extend this lead. You don't want to let a team hang around at a 1-0 clip for too long, obviously,
right,
Matt.
yeah.
You know, it really just, it takes one mistake. It takes, you know.
The finishing touches just have not been there in the final third tonight. And it looks like Duluth FC is, in fact, getting ready to make a couple changes here.
Yeah, it looks like that's Omani warming up on the far side and Felipe Santos.
Yep. Call a foul now on Limmer, I'm guessing. Looks like, yes, they are. Free kick now for Herman Ortega. We'll send it over the top. Hitting the deck over there now was Bautista. No foul called there. As Foltz now grabs it on the edge of his 18, and now will roll it for Stefan Robe. Robe now for Limmer. And he'll force a throw now coming up far side. As we're into the 61st minute, still just 1-0. Duluth FC looking for a little bit of insurance here. As Robe now, near side, Arazo. Now they'll go all the way back here for Zeke Foltz.
Yeah, and it looks like Felipe Santos is just getting some last-second instruction from coaches Sean Morgan and Craig Chudley before he gets on. It looks like he's going to be heading to the midfield here pretty quickly to make that substitution.
There's Domorotsky now coming forward, getting hit from behind a couple different times, and now there's going to be a yellow card given to Mateus Mora. Now Duluth FC wants to go quickly, and the referee says, no, we got to do it again.
Matt, I think that's 3 players between Vergara, Ortega, and Mora now that have cards in the back line for Lacrosse Aris. And with 30 minutes still left to play, it's a dangerous situation that they're playing in here.
Yeah, it is indeed. And so the yellow card for Mateus Mora. It'll be a free kick now, just over 30 yards away from goal. Looks like Stefan Robe's going to stand over this one.
Yeah, Matt, I think that was 1-2 for Mora there, where the final foul probably wasn't the card. It was the fact that he had 3 fouls in that sequence.
In that sequence
he
alone.
swiped at Costi's leg. Costi
Robe
to go down.
with the shot, and that one goes wide, and it'll take a deflection off the wall. It'll be a corner kick here coming up. Stefan Robe winding up on that one, Coach.
Matt, I didn't even see it. I'm over here chatting away like usual and completely missed the play. We've got a bit of an obstructed view tonight from our seat up top.
Felipe Santos is going to come in for Liam Pritchard, it appears, here before this corner kick.
Matt, and I like this sub. I think Liam's had a nice night tonight. We've seen from Felipe Santos throughout the season here, he can be a bit of a difference maker. And when he comes on, fresh legs.
Domorotsky now off the corner, plays it short. Now steps around one. Tried to come forward again, but now it's going to be cleared back toward midfield. And now Pena coming one-on-one with Edmondson near side. Sutter stepping his way. Now he's getting double teamed. Tried to split a couple of players, and we will have a goal kick now. Well defended by Duluth FC there. Good job by Miles Edmondson to hold it up, to let his teammates get back defensively.
Yeah, it was quite the foot race between Edmondson and Pena there.
And it will be a goal kick here coming up for Zeke Foltz.
Matt, we were just talking about Santos though, and again, when he comes on with fresh legs, you know, against a side that's 62 minutes in and haven't made a sub yet, he can be very dangerous. He's going to look for those isolation opportunities in the channels, look for chances to go 1v1, and we've seen how dynamic he can be and how threatening he can be on the ball.
And off the goal kick headed out by Duluth FC. It'll be a throw coming up now for Aris. Mateus Mora, who got a yellow card about 3 minutes back, now will take this toss. And had a lot of this happening before the center referee has been ready here. We've had a lot of plays brought back, Coach. And now they're going to say it was a foul throw, I guess. Or are they going to call a foul? I guess they're going to say it's a foul throw.
Don't see that every day.
Yeah, that's one like you don't see every day now as Santos goes down. Mora playing on a yellow card, by the way, so we'll keep that in mind, as he was the player that was involved there. Now one coming over the top. Here's Cy Pena in the Blue Greens 18. Pena now dancing without moving the ball at all. Now playing it toward the top of the 18. Here's a shot, and that one comes in off the left foot, taken by Callum Dunn. He's had a quiet night tonight. Now Foltz distributes near side. Here's Edmondson. Limmer tried to one-time it forward. That one intercepted. Ortega to the outside now. Pena in the middle, wide open, and a header right off the back of Jake Starling that time, and that was a defensive mistake. Duluth FC getting away with one there.
Yeah, Matt, again, that's, just why Duluth FC, I think, it needs to feel that urgency to try to stretch this lead. It takes just kind of one sliver of space like that where, one dangerous ball in can change the entire complexion of this game.
We now have a ball sent forward here. By the way, that was Stan Cargill who got the header down. And now we're going to have a foul called.
Yeah, it was over the back on Limmer there, and I don't know if it was in the end called on Vergara, or is that Samar that's down?
Looks like we're going to have Colin O'Mahony into the game here. He's going to take out Edmondson. We have a couple of Seagulls also who have made their presence known here on the field.
Number 15, Miles Edmondson.
So O'Mahony comes in. And we'll have a free kick now coming up here. Sent in here now on the 18. Starling into the middle. Here's Behan now stepping through, gets a shot away, and he scores!
Yeah, O'Mahony making his presence known right away. And I didn't see who got the final flick on that ball, Matt, but just a good touch to kind of redirect it right into the path of Connor Behan. Almost a missed touch from Behan right away. It got kind of stuck underneath him, but sorted it out quickly and put the ball in the back of the net. We said they needed to extend the lead, Matt, and kind of right on cue, they've been able to do that. And again, I think that changes the complexion of the game in a real positive way for Duluth.
So Behan with the goal. I believe it's his first of the season. It comes in the 66th minute. And Duluth FC gets that insurance goal. They now lead at 2-0, Coach.
Number 18, Colin O'Mahony.
Now Manny playing that ball in. I want to say that the flick came from Santos, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's either him or Doyle, I think, that came in and got the head on that one. Either way, Behan with the goal. It's 2-0 Duluth FC in the lead now. And this game might open up just a bit here. Now is coming forward now is Pena. His ball in the space, picked off by Starling. Now he turns it right back over as Guillermo Roman. Play it back now, Mateus Mora, and that one will go out of play.
Looks like Felipe Ortega coming in over on the far side.
Ortega's going to come in here at the next opportunity. Duluth FC, by the way, with that goal now in NPSL action, outscored the opposition 21-2 here so far through 7 games. Or well, looks like it will be 7 games here.
Quite the goal differential.
Indeed. 22-3 in all comps. Now on the outside, this is Benjamin Pena again. Pena has made some plays here in the second half, and here he goes again on the right side. Nice tackle by Santiarazzo, and now they're going to get a foul called on Pena. He's one of the guys playing on a yellow card, by the way.
Yeah, just kind of grabbed Santi on the way through.
Substitution for the Blue Greens.
I'm not sure why they brought it back, but
Connor Behan, give it off.
So Behan, the insurance goal, his first of the summer. He'll come out. I'll bring up Felipe Arteaga in his second season as a Blue Green.
it looks like what they're going to do, Matt, right off the bat, is they're going to Felipe Arteaga is a winger by trade, and so they're going to bring Kosti Domaratsky back in the midfield to replace Behan.
Which is more of his customary role, to be honest with you.
Correct.
Played there all last year for Duluth FC, playing more on a wing this year.
So it will be Felipe on the wings for Duluth FC, and
Santos and Arteaga.
then it will be Rory Doyle and Kosti Domaratsky as the attacking center mids in front of Andreas Solaris in the CDM.
And here is the aforementioned Andreas Solaris in the middle. Now here's Doyle. Robe was trying to make a run through the middle, cleared away. Now it's Starling. As we're into the 70th minute of a 2-0 contest. Jake Starling over the top, well played. Here now is Stefan Robe. Robe continuing it on now. Here's Arteaga. Trying to play it into the middle. A bad idea. It's coming weak side with Santos. And Dryden needed to have sure hands on that one. Otherwise, Santos was right on the doorstep, coach. Giving a ride now forward. First one there, Starling. Heads it outside now. Here's Robe. And it'll be a throw now for Duluth FC.
It looks like, is that Paul Bobai on the far side?
It is Bobai.
So I'm sure he'll come in for a midfielder, possibly Roy Doyle or even Andreas Solaris. Likely Doyle.
That'll be my guess. Doyle now. Comes through the middle. Mora playing on a yellow card. Domaratsky now comes over, gets a piece of the ball, and now they're going to call Domaratsky on the foul.
Yeah, man, I guess I didn't quite see it that way.
Got the ball, and then interesting call, I'll say. In the midfield circle here, we'll have a free kick coming up for Lacrosse Aris. Bobai, like you said, probably going to come in here for Doyle.
Or I guess Kosti for that matter, too.
Could be.
Could be any one of those
Yeah, it could be either one of those two, I think. I would guess that Solaris will stay in.
Most likely he's kind of a 90-minute guy through and through.
Off the restart now. Roman playing it toward the 18. O'Mani there first. So now Colin O'Mani. A little bit off balance, lost the handle on it. Now ping-pongs around a bit before O'Mani picks it back up. Doyle back outside. O'Mani over the top now for Starling, far side, making Jake run for it. Able to get there though in time. Domaratsky. Robe, Domaratsky again, now turning here Solaris. Now for Arteaga. Play continues on. Air stopped because they thought it was out of play. Now it's Robe. 4-on-3 for the Blue Greens. Robe coming in. Through the middle, Santos wide open and he scores!
Good ball across there from Robe. I was looking, Matt, at about 4 or 5 options for him to cut back and thought he was going to pick any one of those out. And I like his decision in the end just to slot that across to the far side. Obviously, a tap-in goal then for Santos and stretching the lead now to 3-0.
Santos from Robe. 2 goals in 6 minutes for the Blue Greens, and they now lead it by the score of 3-0. I was surprised that Aris kind of gave up on that play. Nice play by Arteaga, by the way, to keep it in on the far sideline, coach. And then you give Stefan Robe that much space on a 4-on-3, he's probably going to pick out the right pass.
Yeah, and he certainly did, Matt, and a good way to kind of cap off his production tonight.
He's such an offensive presence from that right back position. Got a couple of assists out there, 4 goals. We've talked about that before, and
Matt,
you see it again.
It's a rare occasion for Stefan Robe to not get a point in a game.
Yeah,
right?
it is very much. He jumps up in the play. And
so you kind of knew it was coming at some point tonight. And
so So Aganola is going to come in as well. So both Tom Aganola and Paul Bobai coming in. Domaratsky's night is over, so is Tyler Limmer. Limmer's goal stands as the game winner. But Duluth FC now with 2 goals here in the second half. Connor Behan, the 66th minute. And then Felipe Santos from Robe in the 72nd minute. And it's 3-0 now, Duluth FC. And this ball now will go out of play. Nice to see Felipe Santos also rewarded with the goal there, Coach. We talked about how smooth he is with the ball at his feet. And like I said, nice to see him get a finish right in front of the net. The last 2 goals for the Blue Greens came right at point-blank range.
Yeah, Matt, again, you know, another one where the ball seemed to, I kind of thought he might take that one first touch, and it kind of seemed to get stuck underneath him, but he had plenty of time as the goalkeeper just wasn't able to shift over quickly enough to deal with it.
You know, Lacrosse Aris going to make a substitution here. Stan Cargill's night is over. We're in the 74th minute now.
Matt, I'm a little bit surprised that they would take Cargill off and maybe not somebody on a yellow card.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe the staff just showing some confidence in their players to play on a yellow card.
Well, Manny will take the throw. Here's Tom McAnola. Last time we saw Tom McAnola, he scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah, Matt, and just kind of picked up a little bit of a knock in that game, and really good to see him back in action.
Yeah, 2 goals in 2 minutes in that 6-0 win against Joy Athletic St. Louis Park. And like I said, haven't seen him really since then, but hopefully he can create a couple opportunities while he gets in there, the Canadian forward.
Well, I know he's completely carved up tonight, Matt. I stopped by the Schuster house last night to pick up John for some golf, and I had a full lasagna and a heap of potatoes, and
so he should have plenty of energy is what you're
well,
saying.
I'm telling you, we took John out of the house before he could get much lasagna down, and came back, and there were no leftovers. So Tom is got some energy reserves tonight, I'm sure.
He carbo loaded a little bit before this one. Coming forward now is Mora trying to get it to the outside of the blue-green 18, and now we're going to have a foul called. That's Pena again. Down the back of Colin O'Mani. And we'll have a free kick here for the Blue Greens. Another substitution now for Aris. It looks like they're going to be taking out Matthias Seymour here.
Well, and again, Matt, so out of the 4 defenders, that's the 1 defender not on a yellow card that they've just subbed off.
Which, again, is interesting. Especially when we still have 15 minutes and change remaining in this one, Coach. Granted, it's a 3-0 contest, so maybe things will settle down a bit, but we'll see. Right now, they're pressing with a single forward up top, 4 midfielders and 5 in the back, it appears, on the sequence anyway, as Artiega now checking back and then overhits a ball over the top. Picked up by Dryden. Now he sends it near side for Herman Ortega. In the middle now, here's Pena.
Paul's got to pick a better angle as he challenges there in the midfield.
Here's Santos winning it now for the Blue Greens. Andre Solaris on the right foot. And he gets hit from behind. That's Ignacio Gonzalez on that foul. And we'll have a free kick now for the Blue Greens here, who...
Matt, and I don't blame the Duluth guys for being frustrated with, again, just all these challenges that are seeming to come in after the ball has been
There's Bobai now trying to step around. Ortega, who got there. Roman. Mora. And it'll go out play off of Santiarazzo here. We'll have a throw coming up.
Earlier action today, Minnesota United lost 4-0 to Montreal. Boo.
As the throw comes in, Mateus Mora. Now there's a very long ball that I think it's kind of just to relieve the pressure more than anything else there, Coach.
Or just to build Zeke's stats a little bit.
Yeah, that could be it as well. Here's Rowe.
Save, we'll call that.
So Arsenal squaring it outside. Here's O'Mani coming on the left foot. And now he'll send it to the far side. Bobai. Not enough on the pass out there trying to get it for Artiega. Nice job by Felipe Artiega, though, getting it back for Bobai. Paul Bobai into the middle now, Arteaga, and now he gets thumped, and that should be a penalty kick. Yeah, that's came up on Felipe Arteaga, caught him right across the bridge of the nose, it looked like they're coaching the front there, and yeah, that's a pretty easy call, I think. The AR saw it immediately, the flag went up, and the center referee also saw it.
Yeah, and again, man, I don't know that you can say it was there a ton of intention in it or anything like that, but it's an easy call to make. It's an absolute penalty kick. You saw the AR on the far side, actually, I think was the first one to sort of signal that it was a penalty. And the center ref wasted no time in pointing right to the spot.
So
and
it's
the
going
right
to be
call.
Solaris that'll get the penalty kick try here for the Blue Greens. Nice decisive run, though, that time as well by Arteaga coming in, coach. He was able to create that one, and now the Guatemalan CDM. And he scores the goal. Andres Solaris. Confident penalty kick there to make it 4-0. Arteaga draws the foul. Solaris finally gets the goal. And I think that might be the first one he's ever had as a Blue Green. I can't remember. Did he have one last year?
He had to have.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, Matt.
Okay, yeah. So Solaris waving to the crowd. He's a fan favorite here.
We need a comment section where we could just ask and have somebody go to the stats.
And find out immediately if Solaris
but Matt, he,
last year,
like you said, confidently took the penalty. I think it was right up the middle of the goal as he got Dryden just leaning there.
Yeah.
The highest percentage penalty kick is one right down the middle.
Right, because the keeper's always going to anticipate one side or the other. Yeah. So it looks like Dylan Zabatini is going to come on. So Dylan Zabatini subs in here. Takes out, I believe, Stefan Robe on that far side. And
Dylan, the Crocodile, Zabatini.
I'll make no comment on what Pat Sterner just said. Anyway, it's 4-0 your score. 81st minute. I think the look that we both gave each other, Coach, kind of told the story on that one. So 4 goals now for Duluth FC. 3 of them coming in the second half. They scored 3 in 13 minutes. Connor Behan the 66th minute. Felipe Santos in the 72nd, and then just a moment ago in the 79th. Goal for Solaris to make it 4-0. That goal by Solaris from the penalty spot off the foul drawn by Felipe Arteaga. It's good to see all these different players now starting to also contribute here for Duluth FC. Talk about the fact that Coach Sean Morgan likes to rotate his players through.
Well, Matt, and I'll say this too, the next goal scored here, so to put him on 4-0, has given the coaching staff a little bit of liberty to actually shift the formation. So if you look now, they've gone into a 3-5-2. So with Zabatini coming in, it's now Dylan, Jake Starling, and Santi as the back 3. You can see Omani and Arteaga as the wing backs.
Right, and then the 3 in the
middle.
middle.
You've got your same midfield 3, and now you've got Santos and Akinola playing as the forwards, as the dual forward partnership up top.
So a little bit of an experiment here with a 4-goal cushion in the 82nd minute.
Yeah, and why not? Just try a different system. And
Arteaga again gets brought down. Free kick here coming up for the Blue Greens.
Free kick sponsored by.
And they take it quickly. Here's Akinola. Turning, he has Santos with him. Couldn't get the ball over the top to him. Now here's Roman coming forward. And a foul going to be on Arazo here. And Roman now, as getting the yellow card, is going to be Paul Bobai.
Yeah, I think for just kicking the ball away there. And just an effort to break up the play, and probably the right call in the end. I am excited to see Tom Akinola in a dual forward system. I think that he is a forward, a real kind of true number 9 type player that when he's paired with another forward can link up a little bit differently. And
well, it's interesting because, one of the things that we've talked about with Tom Akinola, coach, this season is the fact that he is a real workhorse.
Absolutely.
Puts in maximum effort and playing alongside a silky smooth kind of ball handling type like Felipe Santos.
Could be a really
could
fun
be
pairing,
a fun
I think.
Pairing, yeah. Now we're going to have a foul called on Solaris, and now he gets a yellow card. At this rate, we're going to have yellow cards coming out of our ears here before the end of the evening. May already be there, in fact.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if is that a persistent infringement? I guess I don't know that I could say there was anything else in that one for a yellow card.
As we now enter the 84th minute. Pena standing over this one now. Zeke Foltz seeking the clean sheet here. As Pena stands over it and it's wasted high and wide.
That's a Blair Walsh kick on that one.
And we'll have a goal kick now coming up.
Upcoming goal kick sponsored by Grand Avenue Veterinary Clinic.
And Foltz will take this one now. Sending it forward, now flicked wide.
Zeke didn't get a lot on that one.
No,
you usually expect the ball to at least get to the midfield.
I don't think he hit it as well as he wanted to say the very least. Well, coming back here, Solaris playing it wide. Rory Doyle playing it over the top now for Santos. Trying to flick it down for Akinola. Nearly worked out for him. Set is brought down, and now Akinola going shoulder to shoulder. Now Arazo. Pena now coming back. And now they're going to call a foul on Arazo, and now he gets stepped on. Gets back up. A couple of extra barrel rolls there, and then he's back up to his feet.
Yeah.
Free kick now, taken by Aris. Duluth FC. After tonight, they'll have a full week to prepare for Minnesota Twin Stars, which is a kind of a welcome diversion, I think, Coach. They've had pretty heavy schedule here the last couple weeks in terms of games. The Blue Greens have. As now here's a turnover out on top. Santos trying to step through, gets a shot away, and he scores.
Great pressure there from Rory Doyle to
Great
really,
the turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the goal for Santos, his second of the game.
Very opportunistic there from Felipe Santos to get on the end of that one. I thought his first touch might just let him down. It was a bit of a heavy touch, but all the confidence in him. He knew exactly what he was doing, and great finish on his part too.
So Santos has 2 goals. A brace for Felipe Santos. Like I said, just a really good work rate turnover that time from Rory Doyle, just coming up on top, not giving up on the play, and creating the turnover. Felipe Santos with the brace for the game. Both of them coming in the second half here. His goal is coming in the 82nd minute and the 86th minute, respectively.
Well, Matt, you know, if you're part of the Duluth coaching staff, it's exactly what you want to see. You know, it's not just, okay, so we're going to try this new formation. It's not just can we move the ball in this new formation, but can we get all the other things sorted out too? Can we figure out how to press and where, you know, which guys out of the midfield are going to come up and do that?
And now Bobai off another turnover comes barreling forward. Now he gets taken to the turf here, and it'll be a free kick. Colin O'Mani over there talking with the center referee, as is Felipe Artiega. And this is the point of the game, Coach, where you really want to be careful about not getting anybody injured or.
Yeah, and that's why I'm surprised there's not a yellow card on that one. Just with how things have been called over the last 10, 15 minutes here, you would think that that's, you know, when you think about like the Solaris yellow card that just got called, you know, if you're gonna give it one there, it's probably got to be reciprocated on the other side, right?
So standing over this one on the right foot right now is Doyle.
And now it looks like there's actually going to be a conference amongst the
officials
the
here.
Officials.
It was from behind. Bobai had space. He was coming forward, and then
I'm sure
run up on from behind. And I don't know. I've kind of lost track of who's got what yellow card here.
No, and I'm sure that's something that the center official is considering. Is, you know, you don't want to give a red card if you don't have to, but you know, if I'm the coaching staff on the Duluth side, I'm saying, well, that's not really our problem. If he's already on a card,
right?
And he makes a foul, it's a cardable offense, you've got to call it, and it's exactly what's happened here.
Yeah, there's a yellow card right there, and that's the second yellow and a red card.
And that's for Vergara.
Yeah. Luis Vergara.
Naughty, I think.
And now, apparently coming over now to argue with the official on that far side is going to be Ortega.
Together, we are superior.
And I'm not surprised that they actually called that one, Coach, really. I mean, it was from behind and tactical foul. Bobai had space.
Matt, and there might be another yellow card coming here. I think Ortega said something to the AR on the far side that she took
the flag goes
exception
up
to.
now, and now we might have still another one here coming up. And our fourth official, Jeremy Euchre, has also come over, and now he's.
Yeah, and Vergara's got to leave the complex. Matt, and again, this is another example where I do think the officials got it right as a collective.
Right, yeah.
You know,
and this is, you've been kind of logging them all night for checking with the ARs, and now here's the second one, and now, yep, there it is. Second yellow, 2 reds, and 1 sequence here is Ortega. Now gets the red card for the game, and so now they'll be down to 9 on 11 here, and things just kind of coming apart here a bit on the Aris side of things.
Yeah, and again, Matt, this is the point of the game. Like, if you're the coaching staff for lacrosse, you're thinking, like, we're almost out of here. We're not going to get the win. You know, we've got a long bus ride home.
Right.
But what we really don't need at this point is to be missing players for our next outing.
As Doyle now lines up a shot, and that's tipped over the bar there by Dryden. And we'll have a corner kick now coming up. And, you know, that's one of those situations, Coach, where, again, frustration probably taking over a little bit for lacrosse, but, you know, just question of discipline at a certain point.
Yeah.
As O'Mani will take this corner kick now, far side corner flag. We're into the 90th minute. There'll be a few minutes at least added on of added time here.
Yeah, there have been a few stoppages, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Bending ball now from O'Mani. Dryden gets a piece of it, can't find it. Now he'll finally grab it on the byline.
Matt, Mitchell Dryden's had a nice night. I mean, obviously it's tough when you're picking the ball out of your own net 5 times, but a lot of those have nothing to do with him.
And now, yeah, they're not going to add any more time here. They're just going to let this one go. And I can't really say that I blame them. I mean, he could have added a good 4 or 5 minutes just based on the conversations, but sometimes, you know, the discretion is a better part of valor, shall we say. And 5-0 is going to be your final score here. A couple of red cards in the last minute here for Lacrosse Aris. Blue Green scoring 4 goals in the second half. And comprehensive 5-0 win. 7 wins, 7 tries, 21 points, and they continue on with the win now. 24 goals for and 2 against us so far here for Duluth FC. I mean, if you're going to put up numbers, those are some pretty good numbers to put up, Coach. 7 games into the campaign.
Well, Matt, it's a great response, you know, in a couple ways. Obviously, you know, dropping their first result on the midweek, again, in a cup game, so not an NPSL, but, you know, it's a good response to that. It's also a good response to the last time they saw lacrosse. I mean, again, it was a hard battle down there, and, you know, a 1-0 result that in some ways could have gone either way. So to respond in the way that they did tonight, there was a lot of stoppages in the game. It was a very broken game, but they stuck to their game plan a lot better tonight, and you see the result of that. To get 5 goals on, it's a professional win. Got a lot of players cycled through, and I think they you know, show off a little bit that they're back in form, and hopefully can kind of, you know, continue this run of form into their next NPSL games.
Recapping the scoring in this one here, we'll go through this quickly as the Blue Greens scored early. 5th minute in, Tyler Limmer, his 6th goal of the season from Liam Pritchard and Andre Solaris, who had a goal tonight, by the way, to make it 1-0. That lead stayed at 1-0 until the half, and then the second half, the Blue Greens opened it up, scoring 4 goals in a 20-minute span. First by Connor Behan, his first of the season in the 66th minute to make it 2-0. 6 minutes later, Felipe Santos with the first of his 2, a brace for Felipe Santos here today. That went on an assist from Stefan Robe in the 72nd minute to make it 3-0. Then it was Andre Solaris on the penalty kick that was drawn by Felipe Artiega in the 79th minute to make it 4-0, and then off of a mistake by Lacrosse Aris in their back, a turnover that allowed Santos to come in for the second of his brace. That one coming in the 86th minute to make it 5-0. And like I said, pretty comprehensive all the way around. I mean, can't really argue with the result. I think Lacrosse Aris got frustrated as the game went along, got a little bit sloppy late. Blue Green certainly took advantage, but that second half certainly was a dominant performance by Duluth FC in terms of tilting the field and creating opportunities, and you saw the end result of it. Duluth FC continuing right along now, still far and away the top team right now in the NPSL North as we begin the second half of the season.
Matt, and again, it's a professional win. I think, if you're the coaching staff, if you're the players in the field, like, you're going to walk away from this one feeling like it's a job well done. And that said, I think there's still things that they can continue to make progress in, in the season here, in the summer. And I think that's exactly where, like we said, we're in the second half of the summer now. It's exactly where you want to be if you're Duluth FC, to be able, and now you've got a week off to really, look at this game, find those little tweaks that you can still continue to make, and just tighten that up that much more. It's a great spot to be in if you're Duluth. And again, you're on 21 points.
Right, 21 points from 7 games. Can't be any better than that. That's perfect. And they'll maintain first place in the NPSL North and possibly even first place in the entire NPSL. That's where they were heading into the weekend. And I'd be shocked if they're any lower than that. Duluth FC came in with leading the entire NPSL in goals against, goals per game, or excuse me, total goals, and goal differential. And they scored 5 here without giving up one. Now, like I said, plus 22 in the goal differential, which is super impressive considering they're only 7 games into the campaign. Up next for Duluth FC, they'll be taking on Minnesota Twin Stars in a week here at Public School Stadium. That'll be our next broadcast here. 7 p.m. the opening kick there. I'll be on with the pregame. I'm flying solo that night, folks. 6:45, let me apologize in advance. 6:45 the pregame as the Blue Greens look to go 8 from 8, or 8 for 8. Here on the season as they take on the Twin Stars for the second time here in 2023. A big thank you to John Law, who was my production engineer, also to Tara Anderson, our very deft camera person, and of course you, Coach Joe Mooney, who will be away officiating a wedding of one of his former players. That's the reason he'll be gone next week. But
congrats to Emma and Danny down there. Absolutely.
And wear that kilt well, my friend.
Much appreciated.
I'm sure.
I'll be thinking about you guys up here. We'll, I'm sure we'll have the game on somewhere in the
building,
in the ceremony. Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
Ceremony?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that will be, at least someone will be watching me at least a week from tonight. So for John Law, Tara Anderson, and also the Coach Joe Mooney, this is Matt Johnson. One more time reviewing the final score. Duluth FC shuts out Lacrosse. Aris final score here from Public School Stadium. The Blue Greens 5, Aris nothing. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be talking to you in a week. This has been Duluth FC Soccer, brought to you courtesy of the Blue Green Stream Team.